Alrighty, hello, welcome, we are back. Lighting looks a little bit different today, but we're good. Alright, hope everyone's doing well. We are back for episode 2 of the Community Spotlight. This time, today, we are featuring Lemon Games by Simple Marius. Hope you're all doing well. Who've got hanging out here today? Richard, hello. 3 a.m, hoping to make it through the whole stream. Mate, you should probably be going to bed at some point. I remember you work kind of weird shifts because you work in like a bakery or something where you get to do some odd hours, but even so, 3 a.m. is an unusual time to be awake. Hope you're doing okay. Who else we got in here? Simple Marius, I'm glad you managed to make it. You are in the bus. I know that you are actually going to be only able to make part of the stream today, so I appreciate you being here. Naive Melody, aka Nick, has just departed from this planet entirely. Sander just woke up this morning. Hello, how are you? Raven Ann saying the absolute disregard and lack of empathy you show for those of us who liked the meme is disgusting. I obviously missed some kind of conversation earlier. Something about the moon being delicious and it tasting of elderberries. That sounds about right. Alright, glad to have you, and Wendy, you jumping in as well. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I know that you're probably quite busy as well. What the hell time is it for you? Alright, it is a lovely 7 p.m. in the evening here. We still have at least 2 more hours of daylight because Australia, why not? But we have a game to get into, and I apologise for being just a little bit late to the stream today. I swear it was not my fault. And Simple Marius, this is the first bit of feedback for you. I don't quite know why it was happening, but with the 2 monitors set up, every time I launched your game, it launched on the smaller of my 2 monitors. And I had to do a little bit of witchcraft to actually get it to now be on my proper 4K monitor for today's stream. So we'll see how things go. I have loaded up the game just to test that it works properly, but I have not gone into any gameplay. Now that said, we are going to be trying out something slightly different today because I want to iterate and improve on the stream format from last time. Yes, 4K, my god, yes. Raven, they stole and ate the dang moon. Is that not just what normally happens when it goes from a full moon and then it like slowly becomes smaller and smaller? I thought like Wallace and Gromit style, the moon was made of cheese, so it just slowly got eaten as things went on. If that's not right, then yeah, someone please correct me. Obviously my scientific background is failing me. Australian education system needs to get a shit in order. Richard, not unusual for you. Stayed up until 4 a.m. on weekends when you were a teenager and your nocturnal nature hasn't changed since then. Makes working at 10 a.m. hell though. I can absolutely believe that. Wendy, it is 12 a.m. Just taking a break from watching the new Ultimate. Ah, right. Okay, yeah, no, Final Fantasy 14, I assume you're talking about. They've released a new Ultimate. Gonna be interesting to see how long it takes for someone to actually beat that. Pancakes Michael, hello! How are you, my friend? Thanks for stopping by. We've got something interesting to look at today. Simple Marius, you'll fix the resizing issue today. Thank you, I appreciate that. Managed to get it sorted, just had to go out of full screen mode, drag it across, re-full screen, and it sorted itself out. Raven Ann, thank you, Mr. Memo. Thank you for clarifying. Deeply apologize. Blame the courier for not delivering. Absolutely. Someone is just really enjoying that moon cheese at the moment. Alright, so I have something to show you before we get into the actual game, and it is, let me jump over here, this lovely little thing here, which will probably come forward and back from throughout the stream, because with these streams I want it to be more focused on constructive feedback. So what I want to do this time is actually jump in and out of the game and use this as space to be able to take some notes. So that when we spot something, we're like, hey, this is a point, this is something that could be done differently, we can jump in here and we can actually do something. We might end up tweaking this and maybe like have a slide for each point on here, but where I think this is going to come handy is, well, today we've got Simple Marius hanging out in chat, and last week we had Strack, who was able to actually be with us for the entire live stream. That's not always going to be the case. Australian time zone's weird for the rest of the world, so not surprised that people won't always be able to hang out for the stream and get the live feedback. But what I would like to be able to do is actually fill this out and send it through to the dev or devs after the stream, so that they've actually got notes ready to go to provide some feedback on the fly. The other thing that I'd like to be able to do in the future is actually potentially, if they're willing, have the dev join live chat so we can actually talk about their game as we go. Turn it into almost more of a conversational podcast / interview style, talking about their game in a bit more detail than what just live chat would allow. So that's kind of where I'm thinking about this going in the future. Let me know if that sounds like something interesting that you'd like to check out. But otherwise, I think it is time for us to get into the actual game. So here we go. This is Lemon Games, which is a very interesting name for a game, and I will admit, several times my brain has got it wrong and has almost called it Lemon Party, which is very different. Very, very different. Don't Google that. Just don't. Trust me. Just don't. So that was the first thing I was like, this is an interesting choice of name. Now, we have to assess this the right way. And that is by starting with the settings. Now, the first thing I'll notice is this is kind of a cool splash screen. When you first load up the game, it makes you enter in your, not 100% your date of birth. It captures your day and month for your birth, which is absolutely fine. It doesn't capture your year, so if you're worried about anonymity, then you're still kind of okay on that front. And apparently the reason it's captured is because there are rewards on your birthday. Now, you might not be able to see it properly, so I'm just going to slide myself here a little bit so you can see it. But there is actually a daily quest function down the bottom, which is interesting, because Marius, I want to know, do you have aspirations to make this a mobile game, or is this always going to be PC only? Because this kind of thing down here, it does feel kind of mobile game-ish. Not saying that that is what it is going to be or that everything's going to be that way, but it gives me that vibe when I open it up. So that's just something you might want to think about. All right, but apparently something requires keys, so we need to keep that in mind. Otherwise, I also have to pay a fee, apparently, to change my name, which is interesting, but I guess you want to prevent people from doing that too frequently. Right, let's actually look at the settings. What do we have here? So, okay, couple of things that stand out to me. Now, I might be saying it wrong. No, there is a bit of a drop shadow behind some of the text there. It's all pretty readable, but on a colorful, bright background like that, it's a little bit tricky. Now, obviously, I've already gone through the settings a little bit to get it set up and make sure that things work how it's supposed to work. Other than like things looking pretty, one of the first things that strikes me is that there is no music in the background here. There is like a very slight wind sound that I can hear, but otherwise no music. So I don't know if that's something that's planned for the future, but setting the right tone for your game as soon as you launch it is always going to be important. So I would definitely keep that in mind as something to work for. You can have music in vinyl. What do you mean by that? Oh, you get it in achievements. Okay. So you have music that you can unlock to have on the main menu. Interesting. I like that because it gives the player a bit of customization, because I also note that you can change the background here. And I have to say, this is completely unnecessary, but I like it because it's a lovely little bit of customization. I go, you know what? Actually, I want to make this more greenish, bluish. You know, actually, I'm going to pop these down so I can make it a nice dark green. And I can do the same on this. Make it a bit more green there, and look at that, there we go. And then I can move the position as well, apparently. No, that doesn't seem to have done anything. But that's fine. Still, the fact that I can customize that a little bit if I want to is pretty neat, not gonna lie. Make a nice little bluish tone there, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Still, the fact that you allow me to customize the background, pretty cool. The fact that I can't have music as soon as I launch the game, but then have unlockable music tracks to further customize it, that makes me a little bit, Oh, hang on a second, put it in the middle and go back. Put it on this side. That does not seem to have done... Oh, hey, maybe I have to save, maybe? No. Go back there. Oh, okay, now it's in the middle here. Okay, I guess it's changing it here. It's not the preview. Okay. That I would think about tweaking, because what I'm looking at here, if I'm seeing live color changes in the background, I would expect to see live position changes as well. That's just my 2 cents. So what I'm going to do, let's jump over. In fact, actually, I'm going to change how I'm sharing. Let's go back to full screen here. I'm going to make that as a note in presentation, and I'm going to have to drop the font size right down for this. Let's go for like a nice size 12. And we can change the spacing back to single there. Ooh, this is going to look a bit weird. I'm going to have to mess with this. We'll figure it out later. I would say presentation, customizable backgrounds are cool. Weird that there is no music at launch. Unlockable music is cool. Start the player with something. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to run out of space real quick. I think what we'll do, let's change all of this. We'll leave it as bullet points. Put you back to single. And actually, we'll just set all of the font size to 12. And instead, we will make that bold so that we have our headings more visible. That works. Sweet. Okay. Again, there's people looking at this be like, no, what are you doing? There's better ways to do it. Like, this is mine. This is how I am choosing to do it right here, right now. And you can just suffer through my decisions, okay? All right. But yeah, this is the whole point why I want to start capturing some of these things now, because I just know that we're going to have lots of feedback for some of these games that we play through, and we want to better have space to capture it somewhere. But you can hear now, like, the silence is kind of eerie. There should be more. The other thing that I've noticed, and again, keep in mind that as far as I'm aware, this game is very much a work in progress at the moment. Sandra's writing a review of my review. Excellent, we can get nice and meta. Again, if I go into change background, you've got consistent font across the color and positions, but different font used for background and shop. Same font for background, shop and inventory, different font for the back button. Okay, so again, presentation, I would try and say font choice needs to be consistent. It's all about presentation. Oh yeah, we said this well. Position slider should give instant feedback the same way the color slider does. There we go. If I talk about something and I forget to note it down, chat, please let me know. Keep me on track for this one, okay? All right, we also have background, shop, and inventory. And here we can see that there are 2 other backgrounds that are unlockable for a small cost. These are not actual dollars. These are for your currency up here. Again, consistency. Here, again, probably nice and simple, just to type 5 and then the dollar symbol. But up here, you've done 1 and then the dollar icon. That makes a mental disparity between those 2 things. If you've used the icon up here, use the same icon down here. Use the same graphic. You don't have to create anything new. Just put it down there so I know it's the same currency. Always assume your player is the lowest common denominator. Make things as simple as possible. So I'm going to say consistent usage, just how you spell usage, of currency icon in menus, please. All right, let's go back from there. Oh, also, just note there, your back text here is bolded. And when you go back again, it now changes. So again, font consistency, please. Let's have a look in the graphics. This one hurt my soul a little bit, I'll admit, when I went through it. First appearance, this doesn't look too bad, right? Very clearly we can see what we're looking at. We've got graphics quality, shadow distance, anti-aliasing. Love it. And you've got it on a slider between pixelated default settings and more pixels. I'm going to bump this up as well as anti-aliasing. That should be fine. I've got a pretty powerful computer. And I hit save. Job done. Had to remake it. You forgot some settings. Damn right. Because there's more settings here. And now this one in the context of your game does make a little bit of sense. Because you can go to the right and you can see the individual settings for the different games that are spelt here. Oh, was occlusions? Yep, occlusion is spelled incorrectly. You got an extra U in there. Good catch, Sander. Okay, so here we go to Cartland settings. Again, pretty straightforward. Render distance, field of view. Again, we could have the same here where we've got consistent font sizing and spacing, and here it is slightly different. Yeah? If we go across to type, at least these are the same, and I like that. Yeah? If I go between here and here, it's the same. What's not the same is the default settings. The field of view changes from 60 to 70 between Cartlands and type. I haven't touched that. I did touch some of the other default settings earlier just to bump it up a little bit. And it's worth pointing out as well, Marius, that when I came and played and set things up before, I did actually adjust the general settings and it did not save it between play sessions. So I might just want to double check that. Because I had set that last time, so it was ready to go. I didn't touch field of view though, because I'm trusting that you've probably got that set to a good position. But what's interesting is if I go to Cartlands, we've set it in distances of 250, 400, and 650. I don't have a reference point for what those are. Is that meters? Because if I come back here, this one in shadow distance, you've specified meters. This one's not. Now, this might just be my science background kicking in. But whenever you've got it should always have units. So field of view should be degrees, render distance should be meters. If you do chemistry, physics, biology, any kind of science background, units matter. What is my render distance? It's 250 buckets of water. That's how far I can see. We're now using buckets of water as a unit of standard measurement. Yeah, 100 of what? Yeah, short in meters, lowercase m. Yeah, shouldn't be uppercase m. Good catch there. 400 bananas, exactly. Measure everything in bananas. Now, the other thing, which is my pet peeve, is here we've gone 250, 400, 650. It's not the same here. We've gone 100, 160, 300. Now, there might be some reason under the hood in terms of like how the game operates as to why you've picked those as your settings. But as a player, it feels weird that they're different increments compared to the previous one that I was setting. We then come across to Backrooms. This one, I would love to see you clean up a little bit more. Again, I think you've made it pretty understandable as to what of these different settings are actually changing. It's good. You could use the appropriate sliders where they need to be. Some of these could be drop-down settings instead. Like if I've only got 3 settings here, a drop-down would work just fine. But in terms of layout, it actually works because it's consistent between each of them. So no real gripes from me there. Where I do have gripes is that you've got some explanations over here with some settings and then more settings over here, and some of them are tick boxes, and then you've got more sliders underneath. And it just feels like it would have been more sensible to just resize things to make them a little bit smaller and have them all in one column with maybe some additional tick boxes over to the side. But what you've ended up with here is almost making this next button on the right impossible to see because it's overlaying exactly with one of your settings bars, your sliders. So it's I actually missed that the first time, that there was still another button for another set of menus. So it's there, and I'm just not sure that this is the best way to display it. Maybe up the top under general settings, have a little drop down that then allows the player from up here to change between the settings for each of the individual games. It also might be worth including somewhere at the very start of the game here an explanation saying that this is multiple games in one. That way the player will know that settings need to be changed for each of the individual games. So yeah, don't undervalue it. Your settings and your general UI, not bad. Room for improvement. Yeah, Raven predicted you. UI revamp. That's going to be the Graeldon update. It's my pet peeve. Let's go back under here. So that's going to be UI revamp. Consider use of sliders versus drop down menus. That is wrong. There we go. Okay, I think that summarizes it nicely on there. Let's get in and actually see what's going on. Let's go play. So we get 3 different ones to explore. Again, different font choice up the top compared to down the bottom. Not necessarily the worst, but we should have some consistency. Cartlands, game where you go into different worlds as a cube. Type, a game about typing, supposed. I think that's meant to be supposedly. Potentially. We'll find out soon. And then Backrooms, liminal exploration game. We're going to play through some of these. We might not go all the way through Cartlands, all the way through Type, because it looks like I can jump between them freely, unless I'm misunderstanding something. Goal here is not to go all the way through. It's to see what it's got to offer, see what feedback we can provide, yeah? First of all, what's this button down the bottom? I'm guessing this is where I'm meant to be able to change the music, and it looks like something is meant to be playing at the moment, but it doesn't seem to be playing. I can stop and start it, but I'm not getting any sound come through. So unless there's a bug in that, or that's not meant to be here. I like this as a general design. This icon and this functionality should be here. Give it to me on my start splash screen so that I can customize the music from the beginning. Because otherwise I have to go into play to change it. But actually, if I were wanting to change music, I'd either look for it here, or I'd be looking for it in the settings. Right? All right. Let's make a note of that. I think that's going to be under... Yeah, that's still going to be under presentation. Ability to change background music should be on title screen or settings. Boom. All right, Marius is getting off the bus. That's all right. No worries, mate. I know you've got to head off. I know you're going to watch this one back later, though, so don't worry. There'll be plenty of feedback, I'm sure. And I just want to say, never expecting you to make all of the changes that I'm recommending. There'll be things that I say and you go, no, that's a stupid idea, Grail. That doesn't make any sense for the context of what I'm trying to do. So obviously take everything with a pinch of salt. Don't be too ambitious and try and change absolutely everything to suit one person's taste. At the end of the day, you're the developer of the game. You know what your ambition is. You know what your game is meant to look like as a final product. Don't let the voice of one person steer you too far from that. Got to follow your passion at the end of the day. I'm just here to help make it a little bit smoother and approachable for anyone else that wants to jump into it. We'll just pretend you're still here. Absolutely. I'm just going to address you like you're here, but we'll come forward and back from it. Are we going to play the Backrooms? We will get there. And I have heard that apparently the Backrooms has multiplayer. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it working, though, because I can't give out extra copies of this game. It just exists in terms of what Marius has given me. But anyway, let's dive in and have a look at the Cartlands. And final thing I have to mention, because I'm being pedantic about everything menu related, is that the highlighted rectangular section behind Cartlands doesn't quite line up with the text. Same with the other ones. It's just positioned slightly too high. If it was a little bit lower, you'd probably actually cover all of the text quite nicely. But I like the effect. I'm a little confused as to why two of them are yellow and one of them is green. It feels like they should either all be the same or they should be different. Weird that two are the same and one's not, right? All right, let's go to Cartlands. Let's have a look. Okay, so I kind of like this, kind of don't. It makes me intrigued, but it feels very mobile gamey. Suddenly I've got two currencies. I have energy and I still have my dollars. And then we have some highlighted doors. Now, obviously, I can't click on any of these ones. They're evidently locked levels that I can't go into yet. So let's start with the one on the left. I am curious as to why we have an infinity symbol and a construction symbol. We might find out, we might not. Now this, I'm not a fan. Gotta be blunt, not a fan of what's going on here. I'm guessing this is meant to be save files. Like the fact that I've got multiple, do I need to see all of these when I load the game for the first time? Probably not. Let me just dive in, and then when I save, have that as an option. Or just have one button here which says load, and then shows some in a list. This is suddenly a lot of information all on screen. Not a huge fan. We also have a backpack icon here that can be clicked. Apparently, I've got some stuff already, but I have no idea what it is. I'm guessing it's character customization. Yep, there's a skin preview down there. So we'll have a look at that in a second. For now, let's dive into desert, because these are either safer. Whoa! Okay, and we are lagging very badly. Oh, goodness. I may have misjudged what we're capable of. Let's put that back down. Leave that as a one-time there. Holy moly. Is this better now? There we go. Now we're smooth. Okay. So this is a line runner game. Interesting. There doesn't appear to be a jump button. Not that I found yet. If you hit a thing, game ends. Okay. Woo boy. Okay. Let's chunk this down a little bit. Because I need to process what the hell I'm seeing. So, this is the pause menu. Chat, come on. What are your thoughts on this? You see this? Hang on, let me move myself out of the way a little bit here as well. I'll just plunk myself up here for a sec. I think that might actually work better. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm not covering any of the UI. How do we feel about this UI? Because here's what I notice. All right, cool. I've still got my currency in the top left. Nice. I can see it in the pause menu. I have a resume button to be able to go back into the game. I then have a menu button and a settings button. But I also have settings over here on the left. These settings appear to have escaped from your settings menu. Marius, pull them back in. Get them out of there. I think the one thing which a lot of us can fall into, and this applies not just to game dev projects, but also things like slide decks and PowerPoint presentations and other things that you might work on. Sometimes I think we fall into the trap of visual clutter. We go, I need to display this information to the viewer somewhere, but I don't know where to put it, so I'm just going to put it here. And I can see how that happens. But you need to think about your audience and where your audience is going to look for that information. And also, do these functions make sense? Now, having the resume button bigger than the rest does somewhat make sense, because that's the one you want your player to click on so they get back into the game. Menu, I'm assuming, takes you back to the main menu where you can, where we started, and then you can choose a different game to play if you want. Or it might take you back to the in-game level select. Let's have a look. Where does this send you? Right back to the very start. Okay, interesting. I was expecting that it might take you back to here, maybe. This menu. Let's go back. Quit, I'm guessing then, must be quit to desktop. Yeah, must be close game. I think those two options needs a little bit more explanation. So menu might be return to main menu, or actually I would probably almost remove the quit button entirely here. Have the player return to main menu so that it forces the game to save on the way, and then they quit to desktop from there. That's pretty common in a lot of games. If the player wants to quit immediately, they'll just Alt F4. Simple as that. Settings, though, we come back in here, and I go, oh, this is the same settings menu from before. And, oh, yes, pressing save sends me back. If I go reset, perfect. Okay. There needs to be a cancel button here. I need a way to be able to go back out of this menu without saving my changes, because I might have messed with some things and forgotten what I did. But also, why doesn't it open to the Cartland settings? I'm in the Cartlands game. If I am in the Cartlands game and I go into the Cartland settings, I should be presented with the Cartland settings, not the general settings, which is what I was presented with the first time. So either it by default goes to the general settings, or by default it simply opens to the last settings menu that you had open, which could potentially mean that if I had been playing Backrooms before, I hit save, I've been playing the game, I pause, I go to settings, it's the Backroom settings. That doesn't help me change the settings for the game that I'm currently playing. So let's make a note of this. I think, where should this come under? It's not narrative, it's not sound design. I think it is still presentation. There's always going to be a lot in presentation. We might need to break presentation down into game presentation and UI presentation in the future. In-game settings should open to the settings for that specific game. Cool. Right, let's bring us back here. Now, the other thing that I've noticed as well is in Cartlands, yeah, you've got render distance and field of view. Down here, you've got full screen and VSync. why are these here and not in your settings menu would be my question. And I don't want to be coming across as like too critical and like ragging down everything you've done. The fact that you've got these settings in the game is great. Let's just put them in the place where the player expects to see them. Same for your volume slider. That should live in the settings in a separate audio section, which we don't really have any settings for. So again, every game should have separate sliders for music and sound effects. Simple reason for that, and it's one that a lot of people maybe don't expect because I didn't really realize about it in terms of, you know, when I started getting into video recording and reviewing and things like that. Quite often, a reviewer will want to record the footage without the in-game music so that they can have the sounds playing in the background while they're talking over something without the music getting in the way. Having separate sliders allows for that. So it actually will make for a more professional review video if it ever gets to that point. Again, that's like way long term. There's a lot of other reasons why you would want to have those separate sliders, but that's just one of them that comes to mind. All right. Now I also have a separate save button here, and I don't know what that save button is doing. Is that saving my settings or is that saving my file? The other part that's missing here is there's been no tutorial or controls. Controls. Let's just change our font sizing here as well to 12, and like on the other side, we can bold there and there. And first point under controls, once I change the spacing, there we go, back to single, is going to be what are the controls? I don't know what the controls are. I just happen to use WASD and that happened to work. Graeldon, oh yeah, Zoneric, hello. Graeldon has not mentioned my presence. You were hidden. You're not hidden well enough. I do see you there. So let me catch up on some of the chat there. Yeah, don't need two quit buttons, says Sander. Pancake Sparkles. Quit should show a prompt that asks if you want to quit to desktop or to the main menu. Yes, love that. That's fantastic, Pancake Sparkle. Sorry that I missed that earlier when I was ranting about the quit button. That's an even simpler way of fixing it between having a menu quit button and a quit button. Have one quit button and then give the player the choice. Do you want to return to the menu or close the game? Simple. Love that. Holy hell presentation is huge. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest section for most of them. So I think we need to find a way to split it out in the future. Sometimes sounds important for gameplay or game feel, but I do not want the music. Absolutely agree. There are people... okay, so... Sorry, tangential point to this. I swear we'll come back. If you've played old school RuneScape before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because the music is quaint. It's cute. But it's not a game that you listen to for the soundtrack. But having sound effects on makes it much easier to know what's happening, especially for combat, because you need to be able to hear the sounds to know when to turn prayers on and off and things like that. But what that means is that a lot of people will turn the in-game music off and play their own music while still using the sound effects as audio cues for when they need to do things in-game. So there's another example of why having those separate sliders is so damn important. Zoyboy, hello, welcome to the stream. Glad you could stop by today, my friend. You've come just in time. We're what, half an hour in and we're still grilling menus. Oh dear. Pancake Sparkle, to fix the saving problem, force a save when you press either one. Absolutely agree, before actually quitting. Yep, simple solution. Sonic Steam sales starts... Wow, that's a tongue twister. The Steam sale starts in about 9.5 hours. You're very excited. Hell yes. I'm going to be buying all the games I need for the next year. No, Bixby, I'm not talking to you. Shut up. Thank you, phone. How long is the stream going to be? Probably around 2.5 to 3 hours. We'll see how we go. We're going to be doing a lot of grilling in this one, I reckon. Okay, so I think enough about the menu there. We've seen room for improvement. Let's have a look at the actual gameplay, because, yeah, this seems to be... There's a category for it. It's like an infinite runner, I think, is the category. I'm thinking games like Subway Surfers, but more simple. Okay, everything which slows time... Okay, that's neat. Okay. Added in some extra mechanics with things falling down. I still don't know why there are hoops on the side, because I do not appear to be able to jump through them. Okay. Time then resumes. Now this is interesting, because I think we do have some basic Unity assets here. Auto runner, thank you. All right, ooh, okay, and we go straight into the next game. Interesting. We're going to touch this ring and see if anything happens. I went through it. Okay. First of all, what I'm really feeling here is that it feels empty. It feels like it is missing something. And I think what it's missing is actually quite straightforward. And that's a lot of set dressing. If this is meant to be underwater, where's the seaweed, the fish, and the things on the side? Alright, level complete. I'm getting XP. Don't know what the XP goes for. We're now in a boat. Perfect. Why did we not start in a cart? This game is meant to be a Cartland game, and I did not start in a cart. And therefore, my disappointment is immeasurable. Also, we seem to have one model for grass. I appreciate that it is used sparsely, but grass growing on the side of the walls is kind of unusual, I will say that. Okay, we have a fast forward section. I appreciate that you're adding in sections that shake up the gameplay a little bit. But here's what you've done. You've given a fast forward section and then made the mines more spaced apart than they were before. So it's no more or less easier to dodge things. And I appear to be just driving into a void, which is a bit odd. Jetpack. Okay, did that... Hang on, wait. I gotta die. Did that actually say press space? Let's just die. Reset. Yes, it does say press space. Okay, pause there for a sec. We need to make some feedback here. We've seen, what, 3 levels? Alright, let's put this under... I think this is under gameplay, and it's going to be partly presentation and sound design. First of all, sound design... I think I saw someone put in there, yeah, Sander, the music's so slow and moody. If you weren't watching the stream, you'd never guess it was for a runner game. I do absolutely agree. The sound choice for... Actually, it's still bolded. Sound choice for Cartlands is too slow. Needs to be more upbeat and energetic. We need some energy in there. This is the first game that your player is probably going to dive into. If I were not reviewing this with intent... Oh, so yeah, set music choice. Thank you. Knew there was something weird about what I was writing. Music choice for Cartlands, yeah. If I weren't playing this for review purposes, or just out of this real sense of morbid curiosity, probably would have put the game down at that point. Gone all the way in. It's a simple runner game. Sorry, I missed it. What did someone say it was called? Auto runner. Yes, thank you, Sonorix. It's an auto runner. Rings do appear to be collectible. Richard, you're at your mum's holiday for a week. Didn't bring your laptops. I'm not sure if you do your game shopping while you're here or after. Sale should run for long enough that you have plenty of time. Be interested to see what your music choice is like elsewhere, but that doesn't seem to be a good fit for the Cartland section. Gameplay, I would say interesting. Oh, freaking boulder still on. Interesting use of area-based / forced power-ups. Shakes up gameplay. But I would say need to reconsider the implementation. When I saw those like gates to pass through that change the mechanical aspects of the game, you want to know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of playing a not playing a mobile game, but seeing a mobile game ad. You know those ones where you see like the person's got like the cannon and they slide it from side to side to shoot projectiles through a thing and it does the math and changes them? That's what it reminded me of. Except I didn't have a choice of what I was going through. This is where you could actually introduce some player engagement by having multiple gates to pass through, and the player can choose what they want to use. And what I would suggest is that these maybe are not supposed to be perks, but are actually handicaps. And the player can go, oh, you know, because of my playstyle, I'm going to pass through the one which, I don't know, makes it feel like I'm on ice, so I slip around more. Or it's going to speed me up through a dangerous area, so I need better reaction time. You could do things like that, but at the moment, as it stands, yes, you're changing the gameplay, but it's not in a way that's adaptive or creates any kind of evolution for the player. It's the same experience every time. They've got no agency over what happens. I mean, even if you think about other infinite runner games, like there was a Tomb Runner game, you've got, what's the jungle escape-based one? Temple Run, Subway Surfers, all of those give the player power-ups that give them a temporary boost for something. Honestly, it's a system that works. I would do something similar. That's one of those game design formulas where you go, well, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But maybe think about how to evolve it. I'm not sure we've taken it in the right direction there. Yuval, hello. Did you miss the entire game again? No, you did not. We are still playing, but we're just trying a different method where we actually take some notes at the same time as we're playing. What else did we notice here? Oh, yes. I wanted to mention this. Controls. Pause the screen on the jetpack controls until the player presses a key. Give them time to read before you just throw things at them. Because as soon as I started, boom, we're off. Alright, well, we can now fly, and the jetpack doesn't appear to have limited fuel. Oh, it does. There is a fuel gauge on the right-hand side. So I am supposed to use it somewhat sparingly. Does it recharge when I land? No. Okay. Now here's the other thing that I've noticed. I don't know how long this level is. So I have no frame of reference for knowing whether or not I'm doing great or abysmally bad right now. I could be seconds away from the finish or hours away. I don't know. Let's land there. Okay, we've got a downward slope. We have a tiny bit of fuel left. Let's just jump through there. Level complete. Yes. Okay, pause there. Progress bar, more UI. Excellent. Let's put that into gameplay. I think it belongs there. Please add a progress bar to the Cartlands levels so I can see how far. Actually, I don't need to explain. Just add a progress bar to the Cartlands. That's all it needs to be. Alright, so far, we don't know what the XP is for, but I have somehow earned 4 coins. And I don't know how or when I earned them. I don't know if anyone saw me earning them and I missed it. Is it maybe related to the XP? I don't know. On that note, actually, if you're going to give me XP, show me what it's being used for. That is presentation. Yeah. Flash the level up bar on screen, show where it started. Before I got the XP, increase it up to where it is now I've got the XP. As a player, that's instant dopamine, and that will actually make me feel more inclined to want to play again, especially if I'm close to getting a level up. And the other thing you can do with that, it's a very mobile game-ish tactic, but you can also show what the level up reward will be. Because that means as a player, I'm more inclined to go and go, oh, yes, I've got something special coming at this next level. I'm going to get something. Yeah, we need a separate UI presentation. Absolutely. I've gotten 4 rings. Yeah, my guess is that the rings gave me coins. Which, again, is another presentation thing. Why are they rings and not coins? Did I suddenly become Sonic at some point and I missed it? Maybe? I don't know. My cube's red, not blue. Can't even say that I'm low poly Sonic. I'm Knuckles, if anything. But these are like the weird like logical leaps where I think like as a developer, maybe it was a placeholder asset, or maybe it's something you've like put it in as a collectible, and maybe it was originally like golden rings that you were collecting as a player, and then at some point it shifted and changed to money. But it's just that lack of consistency. And it means as a player, I don't know what I'm actually getting. Marius came back at a fun time. Reverse Marius. Perfect. No, there's money. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out. I collected some golden rings while I was playing the Cartlands. We think we passed through about 4 of them, and I now have 4 coins. Are the rings and the coins the same thing? Also, so far I don't know what the lightning ones are. I'm assuming maybe we'll figure it out later. I don't think they're energy because nothing has required energy. I'm guessing there's something else. But yeah, what we're saying, Marius, and again, you'll hear this when you watch it back later. If you're going to make the player collect a currency, make the currency that they collect outside of the UI look the same as the currency inside of the UI, or at least there'd be some very clear correlation. Examples of that would be, my currency is dollars, therefore there is a $sign next to a score. I might pick up currency in the form of coins or banknotes or golden bars, but they're all related to money. Okay. And yeah, Marius, what do you mean you're on a school account? Please don't neglect your education. Learning is important. Don't skimp on that. Education can wait. Education can wait, but if you have things to do, do those things. You can always watch this back later to get the feedback you need. I'm sorry, did someone say there's 5 currencies? Where did I see that? Pancake, there are 5 currencies. Oh boy, okay. Interested to see what happens here. Alright, let's carry on. We have plot! Am I dreaming? It is a giant whale. What do I do? I will hunt this shark. Okay. In the scale of odd choices that I've made today, that's probably up there. Alright. Oh, okay. I like this. Forcing the player to use the space off to the left and right. Yes, that shakes things up a little bit. Great move. Do that earlier in the game. Okay, now we have some sliding mechanics. Okay, now we're also bringing back mechanics from previous levels. Yep. That's good design. That is good design. I need to call it out when it is actually good. Also, the sliding of those things is a little bit janky, but it's fine. Because I am a pro. We are good. We are good. The controls are slightly slippery, but we're fine. Oh, okay, and then we land in a boat. Okay. This is nice. Oh, and whoa! Boats aren't meant to do that. Okay. Or that. Okay. I'm not sure this quite controls the way it's meant to control. Also, I now don't have the ability to skip the cutscene. Interesting. Yeah, Sander, I'm going to come back to that point later, once I've had a chance to check out what some of these other ideas are. But that was my gut feel when I loaded this up as well. Okay. You could do something quite interesting here, I think, with more thematic elements. And I think, Marius, this is the question that's on my mind. Are these placeholder graphics? Is there an intent to come back and actually... Oh, okay, we're back here again. I hit the side of it and that counted. Is there intent to come back here and put in more unique assets, animations, thing like that? There is an intent, okay. Because that will help me shape the feedback that I give, because I don't want to critique things which are very much still on a to-do later list, if that makes sense. I don't want to go, hey, you should be doing this, why haven't you done that, if it's already on your roadmap. But what might need to be considered is thinking about your order of priority, and having a look. If you haven't built a roadmap in terms of being able to lay out, this is what you want to do and when, that might be something important to look into. Happy to help you scope out what that looks like. But I absolutely agree, this cutscene should not be playing every time that I die. However, what I will say is I do appreciate that I appear to have infinite lives. I seem to be able to die as many times as I like without being sent all the way back to the start. There has been a noticeable difficulty increase in this level compared to the others. I don't think it's obnoxiously hard. It's definitely up. Definitely an incline. However, I do think there should have been... What the hell happened there? I got stuck. It should have been a checkpoint at the boat, rather than having to repeat this entire section again. God damn it. Oh, I was still going. Okay. Not a whale, the fin is vertical. Fin is vertical. Does that mean it's like an orca or something then? Okay. This is curious because I feel there's a few directions that this could go in depending on how much time and energy you want to put into this. Because I've noticed that the music restarts every time that I restart the level. So the music is either intentional or is just somehow looped and linked to the flow of the game itself. But it makes me go, well, if the music is linked to starting the game, why is the level not based around the music? You could turn this into an infinite runner style game, but one where all of the obstacles and mechanics are tied and synced to the music itself. You could do something quite interesting with that. Yes, you'd need to change up your mechanics a bit to suit. Let's try to creep through here if we can. Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm probably going to smack a bomb pretty soon because the boat is massive. I think that's the finish line. Okay. But yeah, if you were to... I think... Seriously, if that... Wow. Okay. You fall out the back of the boat. I think you can see how that's a problem. As a player, that does not feel good. I would say that in general, the entire boat mechanics are not great and could do with a bit of a look back. I get the idea is that you're kind of using physics to control the direction of the boat. Player problem. All right, let me ask you this, Marius, if that's the angle you want to take. Have you indicated anything visually that shows that the back of the boat is not solid and that the player will fall through it? Because if you haven't done that, it's not a player problem. That's a game dev problem. Because you're expecting the player to figure something out that you've not communicated. That is the equivalent of speaking French to your player, but everything else is in English. So this mechanic here is going to struggle quite a lot. Alright, we can just hug the wall on the side here and we should be pretty fine. Alright. Alright. Made it through. Straight into the next level. This has a little bit more of a Mario theme to it, which is maybe just indicated by the pipes on the side. Okay. And I kind of like that. Like, you could use some of the elements of game design to pay homage to other video games. Maybe that could be the angle that you take. It's like, hey, let's do a free runner thing through worlds themed after other popular video games. That would be fun. I'd like that. Give me some themed things. Okay. Gotta talk about the difficulty there. You have thrown I wouldn't say incredibly, but a substantially harder level at the player with that boat one. Followed immediately by a way, way, way easier. Difficulty, yes, should have some ups and downs, but overall... Actually, can I free draw in this? Let's have a look. Let's make a new slide. Do I have the ability to free draw? I don't use this very often. I can do a scribble. Perfect. That'll work. This is my personal opinion. Keep in mind that I'm not a game dev, but I would be saying that your difficulty curve should be looking something like this. If you're doing an arcadey style game, where obviously x-axis is game progression and your y-axis up and down, that's your difficulty. This would mean that it slowly increases. You get a bit of a bump up as things get harder, but then it stays level. So you have several levels in a row that are of roughly the same level of difficulty, maybe slightly up, maybe slightly down, but it stays in the same ballpark to let the player get comfortable with that level of difficulty and these new mechanics. And then, actually, let's do it this way. What happens is at this point right here, you go, I'm going to introduce a new mechanic to the player. Because the moment you introduce one thing that's new that the player now needs to adapt to, the level of complexity and therefore the level of difficulty has increased. And then again, you do a few levels in a row of that same difficulty, using those same mechanics, maybe intertwine with others, shape it up and mix it up a little bit. And then you introduce a new mechanic again, and that's going to happen at this stage. And that way you have tiered, staggered progression that's consistent, and you're building your player's confidence and capability. When you flip-flop between difficulty levels, what happens is you frustrate your player. You make your player go, why was that level so much more difficult? And now this one's stupidly easy. That's what happens. You frustrate and you alienate your players. You got to be careful with that. Level 10 mashes them up. Good. That's what I like to hear. You want to bring those mechanics together. Sander, yeah, what was the mechanic in the last level? We had the boat level, where you could steer it. Level after that didn't really have a mechanic. It was back to basics, which honestly, I'll be glad if the boat does not show up again. But that's my personal take. Gabaluka, it seems that the back of the boat could have collisions removed to avoid the cube getting stuck on it when entering the boat. Potentially. It might be a game dev thing, but I would almost say at that point, why doesn't the player's control shift to controlling and steering the boat rather than the cube? That would actually kind of be more fun. At least as a player. No mechanic in that one. I'm saved. Nice. Okay. Raven, maybe for the thing you want, group them by theme where the mechanics are similar, then at the end of each group, mash it up. The last one, mash them all up. Yeah. No harm in that. That's layered difficulty, layered progression with mechanics. That's absolutely fine. Narrative. Here's what I'm going to say about the narrative. Let me just pop the dot point back there. For an infinite runner style game, is story actually important? That is my question. Yes, there's the fun little bit about hunting the shark, and it kind of sets the scene for that level. Where's this tying into something else? If you want to have story, introduce it at the very start of the game, and then have little tidbits dribbled in here and there throughout. Sprinkled in. Nice little morsels for the player to enjoy and feel like they've earned that next little bit of story. The story could be serious, the story could be humorous, whatever it needs to be consistent. Or, alternatively, you have to ask the question, does the story enhance the gameplay? That, I think, is the question you might need to ask yourself as the game designer. Are you adding in the story because you feel like it should be there, or you just want it to be there? Or does it serve a purpose? What does the story do? All right, let's get going and have a look. Maybe we'll answer that question. Okay. Onwards. This level has started with the player being released. Curious. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I think in the same way that a cutscene delays your ability to actually start and get into the level, I think it does the same thing. Oh, nice. Okay, put a coin. Ah, I got greedy. Okay, that's clever positioning of the coin. I like that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to say I'm not a huge fan of that. Marius, if you think about a lot of arcadey style games that succeed really well, you're looking at games like Super Meat Boy. You're looking at games like Celeste. Any kind of game where the player is going to die frequently, what they all have in common is that the amount of time it takes from dying to getting back into the action is minimized. Forcing the player to wait 5 seconds per death, especially on a complex and difficult level, you're going to lose the player's interest very, very quickly, except for a very small percentage that enjoy that level of just torture. Okay? People are playing your game because they want to get into the action. Why put barriers in the way of that action? I mean, think about it. If you're going to talk to your friends about the game, you tell them about the variety of levels, you tell them about the mechanics, you tell them about all the things that are fun to do in your game. At any point do you turn around and go, oh yeah, I've got this one really cool level where you sit and wait for 5 seconds before you get to do anything? No, of course you don't. Why would you? No one wants to play that. Oh, okay. Right, interesting. Didn't quite get a chance to read all that, but it's over already. Okay, so now we're linking together some other levels. I'm also guessing I'm not supposed to touch those, or maybe I am. Why is my jetpack already out of fuel? Interesting. Maybe I was supposed to touch those. Also, good to know I can just get stuck on the side of those. Now, see, that mechanic of having the level fold in, more of that, please. You do that in your early levels and you will have my attention very quick. Ah, there we go. Nope, this jetpack just sucks. Now, is this going to kill me? No, it transports me. Okay, yes! This is cool. Make it more trippy and dreamlike. Like switching through realities. You could do some really wild and fun stuff here. This is the creativity that I want to see. I'm glad that I persevered, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see any of this. But why should your player have to persevere to see the cool stuff that you've made? Show them the cool stuff you've made. Alright, so I could just do a little hop through there. There we go, level complete. Okay, yes. Better music choice. Fits the vibe, it's darker, it's spookier. There are shapes and things moving from around the edge. Okay. Maybe slightly too poppy for the music, but it's got that darker tone underneath. But what I'm missing is more creative obstacles. I think the part that's not quite scratching this itch for me is the lack of interactive obstacles. Ones that maybe fall in from the side and things like that. I'm going to pause there for a sec just to let the music back off a little bit. I think about games, and this is going to be a weird comparison. Crash Bandicoot. There are several levels in the Crash Bandicoot series where you're either running towards the camera or away from the camera, one of the two depending on the type of level it is. What all those levels do really well is that the environment acts as you get closer to things. So pillars will fall, ground will crumble away. The world feels alive and responding to the chase that you are in. At the moment in this game, trying to think back through, those swinging axes or hammers, great mechanic. Love that. Interactive. Give me more mechanics of things which are falling into the stage or areas of ground that are highlighted to show that they're going to crumble away. Give me more interactive mechanics like that. And here's the key. When I say give me more interactive mechanics, I am not saying make more levels. I'm saying put this in the earlier levels because this is the stuff that's going to get your player engaged with your actual game. They took your Wi-Fi out. Oh no, I think that's a sign, Marius, that you should probably be not on YouTube right now. I'm going to add that in. Gameplay. More interactive and responsive traps / obstacles earlier in the game, please. Don't make the player wait to see the cool stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Music stops abruptly. Love that. Okay, what happened here? I would love to know. All right, speed's going up a little bit. We can zigzag. It's feeling like an anti-grav thing. Okay, now we're getting very surreal, and this fish, which looks like it's stuck to a pole, is playing a very major role, apparently. Alright, time to shine. Showtime. Been waiting for this. This is the boss fight? I have a button that says teleport. How do I... Hang on, what did I miss there? Okay, the little clock ticking sound effect. Very thematic and appropriate here. I like that choice. Have to go through the same cutscene every time though, which is kind of... Nah. But we've talked about that problem already. Interesting. I have to press it. So are you saying that I actually need to click on it on screen? Let me test this. I do. I clicked it and nothing happened. Did I click it too late? By like a fraction of a second? Did I need to click it earlier? Maybe that was me. Let's do this again. Okay, this is what I like. The obstacles rising up out of the ground is exactly what I was saying. Okay, we click teleport. I see. Right. Marius, I think you know what I'm going to say. What are the controls for your game? So far, it has been A and D for left and right movement, spacebar for jetpack. Why am I clicking on a thing on the screen? Everything else has been keyboard control. Nothing other than the UI in the menu has required me to click on it. Why do I need to click it on the screen? Why is it not bound to the E key or the F key or shift or space? I haven't got the jetpack on at the moment. Could be bound to space. Press space to teleport. There are going to be powers with the mouse. Why? Why is it bound to the mouse? What is your justification for that? Why is that the best way to convey the mechanic? And if that is the best way to convey the mechanic, how are you going to communicate that to the player? Positional powers. Okay, you have my curiosity. I don't want to be too judgmental. You have my curiosity about where this is going. But I think I would still say you need to think about the way you're presenting and implementing this to a player. You're going to get a huge percent of people drop out because they go, wait, sorry, I was supposed to click that thing on screen? How was I meant to know that? Slow time down, pause it at that moment, and have something flash up that says, click here. Because if the intent is, yes, you're meant to be playing this with two hands, one hand to control the movement and activate things in that general area on the keyboard, right hand is meant to be interacting with the screen and clicking on things on it because it has other mechanics involved. Cool. All right. Introduce that earlier. Yeah, would make more sense if it were a touchscreen. That's what I'm saying. It's got a weird kind of mobile phone-ish vibe to it, something I'd expect to find in the App Store. But anytime you introduce something into the game, you need to ask the question of, if I'm seeing this for the first time, how do I know what to do with it? Okay. Very cool. Okay. Stage elements falling into place. I like that. Okay. Color shift. Censored swearing and an error. Okay. So now we're teleporting between the different levels. I can dig it. See, this is cool. Jetpack. Press space. Why did it not say teleport? Click button. Was I meant to land on that? We will never know. I can land on that one, and that saves me a little bit of fuel. I do appreciate that there is a subtle jetpack animation. Okay, that you can hit the blades. Good to know. What do you mean it's not swearing? It looks exactly like that, the way that people censor themselves. Okay, it's put us all the way back here. Cool. What I was going to say in terms of feedback is you have a separate UI element that appears for the jetpack. That could be overlaid on the jetpack itself. There's a little meter or gauge that appears on the back of the jetpack that is perfectly readable, you could absolutely use that as a way to indicate to the player how much fuel is remaining. Like, if that's what you need to do, you need to show the player you have this much fuel, you just put it on the jetpack. Job done. Okay. To be fair, I was looking at the thing on the jetpack more than I was looking at the bar on the side of the screen. Alright, don't hit the blades. Noted. Okay. Cool. Movement just stopped. Love that. I am not going for that coin. Suicide. Yeah, could have got it. Alright, there we go. Unlock second page, and we're straight in. Yeah, I think one small thing that would make a big difference to this is not starting the player movement until they press a button. Even if it's just like press space to begin, something like that. So I'm going to just pop that in here. To begin a level would be a nice little touch. What did I miss in the chat there? Yeah, time for the magical teleport button again. Absolutely. The affected obstacles slowly rising up or falling into place. Very cool. Want more of that earlier in the game. I agree with Sander. The player's already going to be looking there. I think you're talking about the jetpack there. Bright, big indicator, like the whole circle filled in, slowly depleting. Yeah, it could either be a bar that's on it or a filled-in circle that just slowly depletes. Like Raven said, that'd be perfect. Okay. I think it would be bad, Grail. Don't know about that. Some people could use that to bug it out. How? In what way? Because all I'm saying is, don't just force me straight into the next level. Let me just press spacebar to start the level when I'm ready. How would that bug things out? Because presumably the rest of the mechanics in the game wouldn't start until you, like, the player actually starts the level off. Now, the only area where this could potentially fall down, you'd have to sync probably the music to start at the same time. Yeah. Alright. I think it would be doable. What I will say, on a positive note, is that I'm really liking your variety of music choices. Every level so far has had different music, and that's really nice for keeping things fresh and engaging. Considering, like, you haven't seen it on the channel yet, but I've just come off the back of playing games that only have one piece of music for a couple of hours of playtime, and that's been kind of rough. Okay, a couple of tight obstacles there. We go that way, we're good. Marius, you made the music. Okay, very nice. Okay. That takes talent. That's something you should be proud of. Yeah, I'm still collecting rings. The rings should absolutely be coins. Yeah, and I kind of agree with Zonrix. The trees don't quite feel like they fit. Okay, yes, this! This is cool! Oh my goodness, why has it taken us so long to get to this? This is the kind of stuff that I want to see more of. Interactive levels. Ah, touching the side counts as death. Interesting. Okay. I think that could be more clearly communicated, but I don't hate it. That's on me. I think, yeah, I agree with Ravioli. The music is a highlight. I think the vibes in the first few levels don't quite, like, match up to the gameplay. But overall, the music quality is pretty cool. Okay, I'm curious to see how this plays out, because trying to gauge moving walls is kind of tricky. And depending on the speed at which it moves could be dangerous. Okay, no, that's fine. That's a nice twist. Alright, and now we're dealing with neon objects. For reasons. Yes, okay! Sorry. I gotta pause for a sec. Something I just saw that I loved and want to see more of. Attempt 319? No, that's gotta be my score, 319. Attempt 1, score 319. Yeah, the wall shrinking looks very cool. That was a great vibe to it. All the music sounds like slow rap beats. It's a compliment. I agree with that. Raven, maybe you should embrace the fake idea and make it obvious that things are props or cover, because you know what? This kind of game would vibe really nicely with a papercraft aesthetic. If you like, and I think I agree, someone else said it in there, yeah, like the shark has a pole hiding underneath it. If you were to double down on that and make everything in that style, including the player basically being like a little cut out of something held up on a stick that is moving along and is sliding left to right, and then you attach like a little cartoonish, you know, hand-drawn jetpack onto the back of it, you can still just raise the stick up and make it fly. Like, you could lean heavily into that. But anyway, the reason I paused here and what I wanted to compliment was that the pipes through the roof, having the liquid flow through them, is a great visual aesthetic. Absolutely loved seeing that. It makes the world feel more alive. Force field, press E. Okay. You have given me an item. I didn't quite see what it did. Let me try that again. Okay, so I touch the thing. I press E. Ah. Right, that kind of force field. It is a push, not a block. It is a push. But here's my question for you, Marius. How come that one is a press E and not a click the thing on the screen? Also, how was I meant to get through there? Okay. Like the introduction of the new mechanic, you're moving things in the right direction. Not sure that the pickup item needs to be quite that big, but that's cool. I'll vibe with it. That's the kind of thing where you could make the pickup item a little bit smaller, and then it really is a skill issue if the player misses it, right? Alright, I'm guessing I'm meant to press it. Oh, I'm missing out something there. Interesting. Because I can't get underneath that. This piece of music also is very cool. Right, because I managed to knock underneath that. Am I meant to knock something into the wall a little bit earlier? Can I push you over? No. What about if I try and push you? Limited uses. It looks like I can only use it 3 times. Yeah, I agree, Raven. Slight geometry dash vibes with the beats. Well, interesting, like, with that, like, slight dubstep bass effect, it's reminding me of Bomberman for some reason. Might be the jungle beats. Alright, we can navigate through here just fine. But I'm missing a trick here. Aha! Okay, I did just have to knock it out of the way, and then I could scoot through underneath. I like that that is kind of a good and bad mechanic for the player, because you create more obstacles by pushing things forward. I also would have giggled quite substantially if it did a Fusrodar sound effect the first time you use it. But that's fine. That would be overkill. Don't do that. Alright, so we can slide under here. Nice. Alright. Whoa, okay. Suddenly giant gears. Alright. This is definitely moving more in the right direction of the vibes that I was hoping for. Okay, we need to get the timing right on that. Nailed it. Okay. Now what? Oh, hey, okay. Right. Thoughts. Love the fact we have objects falling in from the sky. Only way that that could be improved is by showing me something in the background earlier that is blowing up and explaining why things are falling from the sky. Start the level, bit zoomed out, show something giant mechanical, like maybe an airship in the sky or something, that is slowly falling to pieces, so that I have an explanation for why there are giant cogs just falling down. Visual storytelling for the player. Alright, we're gonna line up with this one. Boom. So I think that's probably like from a narration. Whoa, okay, that was an interesting effect. From a narration point of view, where it falls down a little bit is having full-on cutscenes with text when your character is a block doesn't quite make sense. But if you were to simply do visual, press R2 uses, what does it do? It fills the screen with lightning and makes me invincible. Okay. Please explain that as a mechanic. Don't just tell the player press a button. Tell them what pressing the button will do. However, what I do like is at that time you have basically created obstacles in such a way that if they don't press it, they will die. So they're kind of forced to figure it out one way or another. Yeah, there's no timer to show when it's about to wear off. Some simple sound effects could be helpful for that. And I do agree with Zonorix's earlier comment. It'd be nice to add some dust particles when the gears fall. Everything feels a little insubstantial, if that makes sense. Nothing has weight to it. It's obviously in the environment, but doesn't feel like it's interacting with the environment. And I think that's okay. Like, if you're going for a more basic style, it gets the job done. No need to go crazy with it. And I think this is going to tie into some feedback that I've got later. Yeah. Let's hold that thought for a minute. Okay. But yeah, I do agree with Zeri here. Like, do we actually need a different button for each power-up? And I still come back to the fact, why was the teleport one something that was clicked on screen? Whereas on the other hand, the other power-ups we've received are just press the button and it goes. Okay. And I only needed one charge. Nice. Just that good. Okay, now I'm getting Crash Bandicoot vibes. Very much so. Follow the light in the dark. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit about memorization and a little bit of reflexes. But I like this aesthetic. You're shaking things up with the gameplay and that feels good as a player. It's starting to make me curious and go, what's coming next? I got too greedy. I went for the ring and totally missed it. Alright, let's try again. But that kind of death feels fine. That's the kind of death where it's like, that was 100% completely my fault and was within my capability to avoid that if I were just better. Rather than, this thing's a gimmick and now it's going to kill you. Good luck. Which is what the boat from the earlier level felt like. Honestly, I think that bit needs to be cut completely. It doesn't fit with the style and aesthetic of the rest of the game that you've crafted. More power-ups. Iron Skin. How is this different from a shield? It does not need to be activated, so that's cool. I like the visual effect that you've created for it. It looks good. I'm guessing it turns me into a bowling ball and I can just charge through some things, but so far, I'm doing just fine not touching anything. I'll grab that, thank you. Perfect. Don't know what Iron Skin does. Okay, I've got questions, but in a good way. Right, this is going to be a bit more challenging, trying to actually dodge all of this nonsense. Also, why are some of them shooting one cannonball and some of them are shooting two? That's not how cannons work. Well, I mean, actually, it kind of is. You could just load them with as many as you wanted. You just need the explosives to propel it. So, you know what? I retract that statement. That is how cannons work. Okay, now all the cannons lying on the ground. Visual storytelling. That's perfect. You didn't need to be like, oh no, the cannons. I can just see they're broken. Something's happened. All right. What was the purpose of that little zoom in, zoom out? Did I miss something? Wake up. I'm sorry, those things on the side just look like butt plugs. Okay. Interesting. That's the boss fight. Right. So the pan out is meant to be what? To look at the moon? Is that why we're panning out? Not quite sure what purpose that cutscene explains. And we do have to go through the cutscene every time. Okay. We pass through the cannon. Boop. And then we have this little boss fight where we actually pause in front. We start to retreat. Yep. Now we're doing a proper Crash Bandicoot. We're going backwards. Let's dodge that. Oh, he fell off. Sorry, buddy. Okay. That was cool. Nice little touch. Alright, then we've got some more cogs to go through. Bit more drum and bass music. This music is more fitting the vibe of your game. I want to hear more of this. This is cool. It amps up the energy and it allows you to play into the craziness and wackiness of this world that you're creating. And I think that's what you need to lean into, is making the player feel more like they're starting to experience an acid trip. If that makes sense. Oh, damn it. You don't want it to be 100% like visual clutter. You still need to be able to clearly convey what's going on, but thematically you could absolutely have fun with it. And I do want to give you praise for the music that you've created. You definitely have a knack for it. There we go. Pass through here. New power has been acquired. Use the mouse, point to location, press F, and you can... Okay, we have a pointer teleport. Interesting. That did nothing. That did nothing. Oh! Okay, has to be dead ahead of us. Well, there goes one. But also, there's no on-screen indicator to tell me how many of these that we have. Right, so I can use that for self-defense. Now it just says gear. Well, that's a problem. Yeah, teacher caught him, I reckon. Okay, I'm going to say, here we go. Let's add some notes here. Music in later levels sounds really thematic and fitting. More of this, please. We have talent for creating music. Quite like that. They're doing a lot of good stuff here. We did indeed gear. I feel guilty about the gear, but not guilty gear about... Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Yeah, all the gear foreshadowing. Turns out it was actually a thing. I think controls... Is it the controls? What was I going to say? No, it's a gameplay thing. Show a UI element for how many gears the player has left. Not elfed, left. Right. Let's keep going. We're going to beat a couple more, and then we're going to switch and have a look at the other games that have been created. I feel like we have to beat the gear level. Everything's been leading up to this moment. Like, are we really doing the game justice if we quit at this point? No. No, I don't think we are. Power-up has been acquired. Use the mouse to point the location and press F. 7 users only use them wise. Only use them wise. Okay. This is nice. Could be 3 times faster. Alright, drops down the cannon. Shoot me! Good job. Go! Get rid of you. Wow! Okay, if that killed me, I would have been very upset. Go gear! Okay, last time he was actually dead at this point, so why did that not work? Interesting. Did I actually manage to kill that thing on the first go last time? I think, honestly, this is one of the things that's just drawing me out of this game, is the lack of sound effects. There's so little feedback to anything you do as a player. It makes you go like, why am I here? I don't feel like I'm having an impact into this world. Okay, let's go through this again. Right, I can throw a gear. That did nothing. Last time I kind of hit that. That also did nothing. I don't think I can jump over to that bit on the side. I don't have any way of making it over there. There we go. I hit you with your own bowling ball. Go again. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Hello. I don't think it's a waiting game because we got rid of him like instantly last time. Bonk. Well, that's a big ramp. Oh, there we go. We just turned into a gear now. Let's go. Okay. We did it. Hold M to use a... What a bit... Okay. This is not good. If you are in front of your computer, I would like you to take a moment to do something. Please try to hold down the M button while also pressing A and D with the same hand. That's freaking awkward. Why is that set to M? Why is that not set to left mouse click? Why is that a limited power? The bar slowly disappears. Does recharge. Now, yeah, here's the thing. You could go, oh, but Grail, just use your right hand to press the M key, and then you just use movement with your left hand. Problem solved. What's the bet that not much later it goes, oh, hang on, click on a thing on screen again. This just, I love conceptually the idea of flicking between the two realities. I'm not a fan of the implementation. However, I think as a mechanic, it works pretty well. What I'm trying to see... Let's have a look. What did I hit? Why did I die? I came to here. Okay, last time I just died for no reason. Okay. I can go here. Boom. And I've died. Are there objects that exist in the secondary reality? Yes. Okay. No, that's the stopping point for me. I'm sorry. Objects that are in the other reality that I am not currently in will kill me. Yeah, I agree with Raven's suggestion. This should have, not necessarily like, I think, different ground colors, but show me some objects that are solid and some that are dashed lines. And when I press a button, it flicks between the two of them. Things that were dashed lines become solid. Things that were solid become dashed lines. That way, I can very easily see where things are, what's going to kill me, and what's not going to kill me. As it currently stands, you've combined a really awkward placement of keys on the board with a mechanic that is relying on the player's memory to understand where things are, and this does not feel good. Conceptually, it's a cool idea, flicking between two realities to avoid unavoidable objects, but that just doesn't work. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work. So I'm going to stop there for this game, and we're going to take a look and see what else Simple Marius has come up with. Because I have to keep in mind, the point of this is not to get mad at things, it's to give constructive feedback. And I feel like I'm starting to get slightly too frustrated with the game. And that's on me. I need to be better. So, my thoughts on that one, Simple Marius. Really good conceptual ideas. I want to see more of these fun things coming earlier in the game. Because otherwise, the first few levels, someone will load up and go, this is just a simple, infinite runner game with kind of slippery mechanics and really basic presentation. And they probably won't get to the cool stuff. But we're going to come back and talk about that later. Because I think there's more that we need to do to get this working for you as a full game. So let's go back to the menu. Let's go in and have a look at Type. A game about typing. Yeah, we'll accept smaller gripes if it looks and sounds really cool. It's got to be satisfying to play. Okay, so again, we've got level selects. Now, I appreciate that the level select screens are consistent between the different games. That's a nice touch. It's visual... what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically like visual language. It's consistency. Alright, we have almost like an intro cinematic. Type. Level 1. Okay. Now here's my first question. Why am I in the sky? Is this going to be relevant to the actual game? Because if it's not, you know what I'm going to say. Why is it here? Let's have a look. Okay, we pan, we turn, and we press. Do I need to go to like bench presses now? Is this a sign? Is the universe telling me go to the gym? I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do any press. Is this telling me to become a newspaper? Become the press? Left click. All right, we're in. Right, visual presentation. I like this. It's intriguing to look at. Nice use of chromatic aberration down the bottom. I like it. Okay. I am instantly getting Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. Tasks. Type puzzle auditive. Camera. Yep. Alright, we are into Five Nights at Freddy's. Music box. Oh, I'm gonna get jump scared, aren't I? Bloody hell. Alright. That's probably a... Okay. That's obviously my fault. I didn't type anything. That's on me. Yeah. Should have known better. Should have known better. I've got thoughts. I'm going to give this a little bit more time before I do more. So we started off with the music box. It was visible on camera 3. It is now stopped. No, it's still going. There you are. Alright. Security does nothing. Can't click on it. Tasks. Type. There are 30 words I need to type. Please help here. Need rotate. Potate. And no, it's... Did I get killed because I made a typo? We all need rotate from time to time. I absolutely agree. What else is better in the world than rotating? Okay. Let's try that again. There are no instructions, no tutorial, so we are figuring this out together. But I can already tell I am not going to be playing for long. Alright. I just started typing and nothing is happening. Cool. Can I try something else? Oh, there we go. Now it's working. I am here. Okay. What is the purpose of the camera roll? Is that good? Is that bad? I'm guessing it's good. Let the bar fill up. Do I now die? It stopped. Okay, and then it starts again. Interesting. So you need to find that. So it's not roll, it's rotate, I think. Because it's meant to be like a little jack-in-the-box kind of thing. Right? So the whole point is that you complete all of these without letting the spooky thing jump out. Back here. Okay, yeah, we had time. And what's probably going to happen is that it's going to change position. At least I would hope that's what happens. Help is to place, rotate, don't do them. Alright, let's go have a look again. Okay. So this potentially can be figured out through trial and error. Let's just check the others. Nothing there. We're good. Okay. Type. There's the lemon. Just the start. Cameras there. I see you. This gets here. Infinite. Escape. Done. Access. Doll. Task done. We cleared the game. Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of having to type out an SOS while trying not to die. It's kind of a... Oh, cool. Level 2. What was the purpose of the other tasks in that one, then? Was there actually nothing there and I, by chance, didn't go into it? Let's have a look this time. Do you just need to complete one of the tasks? Was that there before? Probably. Okay. Let's have a look. Camera, nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. This one has got it again. Okay. We fill this back up. Which you only have to click once, actually. You don't have to keep clicking it, and that's kind of nice. We do have security now, though. That is both worrisome and incredibly unsatisfying. Oh, cool. There's doors, vents, cooling. So we actually do need to check the cameras because there are now other things that will try to kill us. But I have no point of reference to know if something is on the left or the right. Nothing hiding down there. Woo! That nearly killed me. Okay. The ones I can't use are somewhat grayed out. So you can see here vents and cooling are a darker color than that one. Puzzle does nothing. So it is just typing at the moment. Oh. You want me to do 50 words now? No. I point blank refuse. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. Creative idea. I like this kind of game where you have a creeping threat in the background and you need to step away from a task that you're doing in order to not die. Taking the time to actually type something out, especially if it is story-based and thematic, makes sense. Asking the player to type out 50 words is over the line of what is acceptable. Quantity does not make the game better. What you can do is add in punctuation, or add in more difficult words, or start going into full sentences. But simply going, we're doing the same thing but more, is not the right kind of game design that you want to be going for here. Yes, hello, Arcana Singh. You are Marius's friend. Did I play all the way through? I did not go all the way through the Cartlands. We found a stopping point. We went through the gear boss battle. We completed that one, and then we stopped after that. Because we got to the level which had the switching realities mechanic, and we decided to pause at that point. Oh, can't listen, no sound. Well, I can't really type in chat while I'm doing this, so you're kind of stuffed. You have to listen with captions on, or come back to. Actually, captions should work with the settings that I've got for streaming. So turn on live captions, and you can read what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe you can't leave before finishing a word, needs a tutorial, less words, bigger grace period. Yeah, something like that would absolutely make sense. Yeah, it's a trap that a lot of devs fall into. They go, I've made a cool thing, and now I'm just going to make the player do more of it. Rather than going, how do I evolve this into something more interesting and mechanically challenging? So for this, I absolutely agree. Making the player suddenly have to use 50 words is not the right solution for it. This also suffers from the same problem that we saw in the Cartlands games, where there is just a lack of sound effects where the player expects there to be sound effects. So a good example, and I'm going to switch over to it here. There are click noises for when I interact with options here, like for the camera. That's perfect, like that. There's no sound effect for when I click on roll. Even if I made like a gears sound effect of something turning and rotating, that would be perfect, because then I'll know that the button I've pressed is doing something. When I come in here to task and I click type, there are key sound effects that play when I actually fill out the word. That is also perfect. But when I come to security and I click on the door, there's no sound effect for that. And there should be. That is a giant metal grate that is falling down from the ceiling. That absolutely should have an associated sound effect. Alright, there's my 2 cents. Otherwise, same feedback as we had in the previous one around the overall layout of the settings menu here, and the fact that it doesn't flick you through to the correct section of the larger settings menu. So that's my thoughts there for now. Let's have a look at the Backrooms. Go back to the menu, back to play, Backrooms. Solo closed, make a private room, multiplayer alpha and inventory. What? What? A flashlight cookie? Oh, you're talking about what does the flashlight look like on a surface? Maybe this is my lack of knowledge, but I don't think it's called a flashlight cookie. Maybe that's just me. Wait, hang on. What? Okay, so I don't have these, I have to buy these. Sure, let's buy the cookie. Okie dokie, right. Do we see the problem here? Could be direct translation, absolutely. It could be a language barrier. I can't ignore that. I'm looking at this screen. Yes, I've got the choice to turn it off rather than no cookie. I feel bad. Grail gets no cookie today. I cannot tell you which of these I A, currently have equipped, and B, currently have unlocked. If I go into the shop, I can see, oh, I haven't unlocked cookies 2, 3, and 4. But I can't tell that from here, and I have to click on shop to show it. This UI needs a redesign. Should be more clear to easily see at a glance what I already have and what I don't have. Even just a simple box icon around the one which is suddenly selected, is currently selected, would be the way to go. We also have emotes. That's kind of cool. I like that emotes have been included because this is intended to be multiplayer and it gives you the opportunity to interact with others. And actually that even says... Right. On the positive side, cool UI design. This is nice. It stops the screen from being more cluttered than it needs to be. This is kind of nice. It's a good way to be able to display what's there. I think it's displayed well enough, actually. I don't think you need to do anything too crazy. This feels like it's an element of the UI that could have been included elsewhere in the game as well. I'm also assuming, yes, only one of these is highlighted, so shake hands is presumably the only one I have equipped, or unlocked rather, which is why it is located on 1 through 9. Okay, yeah, no, I can get behind this. You go into shop and it expands it so it actually shows 2 lines at once rather than just 1. And it shows, yeah, it still scrolls and it lets you see everything. This is not bad. The currency is unfortunately overlapping the word emotes though. And I do need to point out that, the bounce of the scroll makes the S of shake hands disappear off the side. Loser is spelt with just 1 O, not 2, but that's a pretty common spelling mistake that you see around all the place, so don't stress about that so much. Same on the right-hand side, the last couple of layers of dance are getting cut off, so it's very minor UI things, but I think overall the way that that is being presented is good. I do question why this is not the same way that the flashlights are displayed, because you've clearly shown here green is what is highlighted and bright is what is unlocked, dark is what is locked. But if I go to the flashlights, I don't get that same visual information. We don't have the consistency there. So small change to make, just make those menus the same. Same in the flashlight one. I think it is actually, yeah, these two are slightly darker, so I can kind of see. But, I mean, honestly, put just a padlock over the top of it. Is cookie one actually a bit... It's not really any brighter. It does a slight dim effect when I click on it. The other ones don't. And actually... oh, this is such a nitpick. You guys are going to absolutely love this. You might be able to see it if you adjust the brightness of on your phone. Make sure it's all the way up. But I can especially see it if I lean, and it's to do with the gamma. The background color of the cookies are not actually the same shade of black. Cookie number 2 has a slightly lighter outline, and you can just see the edges of the box here. And cookie number 4 actually has a rectangular border that goes around the edge. It is just around the edge there. It's just not quite the same shade of black. And that has to be the most pedantic thing that I've ever pointed out in a game. I am so sorry, Marius. Oh no. Thank you, Arcana. Thank you for stopping by. We are going to check out the Backrooms and see what this is all about. Okay. Raven, yeah, the shop isn't that important to be honest. It's not tugging much information on or off. It's just more useful. It was just always on. I agree. you've got two menus that could be condensed into one. Just put a lock icon over the item, like in here, put a lock icon over it with a price underneath. If I click on it, pop up that just says, confirm, pay 2 coins to purchase cookie 1. That's all it needs to be. All right, let's go to multiplayer. Can I... Oh, here we... Okay, yep. Not the colors I was expecting to see. I like that it's actually connected to AU. There, you have an Australian server, apparently. And that I was not expecting. Rules. Okay. Not game rules, but game behavior rules. No racism, sexism, and homophobia. Don't harass other players. Don't grief games or troll. Not saying by the rules to get your account terminated. If you see someone breaking the rules, you can report them. Be nice and have a good time. Okay, nice. I do wonder who's moderating this. Because if it's just you, that's not going to be sustainable. This is... Yeah, I've got questions. That's a great one, Zonorix. How did you afford servers in other continents? I would have had no problems if it feels like, nope, this connects to Europe or this connects to USA. That's what I would expect. All right. I don't really want to use the microphone. I can connect to other servers. I'm going to create a server, make it a private room, and it only has a player count of 1. Okay, other than the colors and the general design here, like, why do we not have a background image of the Backrooms that we're about to go into behind the UI here? Why are these green? Why is one font centered and one is font aligned left? Again, odd. Just makes things look slightly off kilter, if that makes sense. However, this has everything that I kind of need to get a room set up. The only other thing that's kind of missing is maybe a password system. This is Grail's room of doom. All right, we have a text limit. Can't go that far. Okay, this is now just Grail's doom. All right, create room. Okay. Ooh. Different game modes. Escape, free-for-all bounty. That's all. Okay. And we have different levels up to 13, which appear to all be unlocked to begin with. But also it starts at level 0 instead of level 1, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I do kind of agree with that, actually, Zonrix. The fact that you need to connect to a server to play single players is great. It looks like there's a single player mode that is coming soon, so I'm not going to judge it too much based on that. But it is always a little bit crazy. We have to go, well, this would mean that if the server's ever shut down, this game's now completely unplayable. But it sounds like the single player mode, it's in the works. Toggles down here, not bad. Could use a sound effect when you click through, just a little click sound that you've used in the type game would be perfect. Reuse that sound effect. What's a little bit odd is in the game modes, it doesn't cycle through, or there's no indicator to show that there is nothing else on the side. So for example, if I am all the way, sorry, had way too much Coke just there. If I'm all the way to the right, the right-hand side button should become grayed out to show that there are no more options over there. So I can only click left. If I'm all the way left, grey out the left option. Again, it's minor, it's nitpicking. It is perfectly serviceable in the state that it's in. All right, let's start the game. Okay, cool. We are waking up. Our buttons are FCU, which is only 1 letter away from disaster. Mouse sensitivity is pretty high. Okay, I've got a little bit of a character design going on here. It's not bad. All right. The fact that everything is shaking left to right, like it's... Oh, what's the word for it? It's going to annoy me. It's on a camber. It's on an axis. That is very disorientating. Do I have anything in here I can adjust? Backrooms. We have motion blur, depth of field, focus speed, depth of field, aperture, field of view, brightness, interactable tooltips. Also like that I have depth of field, focus speed, and strength, and field of view, even when depth of field's turned off. Also, what the hell was that? Nope, that was something in the background. Okay, there is no way to change that wobbliness. Okay, well... Oh... I get you're probably going for a... What's it looking for? You're looking for going for like almost a GoPro recording feel to it. What it's doing is making me as a player feel like I have a limp. Ah, the word I was looking for before is yaw. Y-A-W. You have yaw and pitch on a camera, and that's what it is doing with that sideways motion. Also, love that in the controls, you did not mention... Ooh. It is unknown where the hole leads, do not jump. Good news. I can't jump. Spacebar does nothing. Alright, here's what I would say that I like. The UI in the bottom left is very clear. I can see what buttons will do what. My torch is incredibly weak. But it does go further than I've seen it do in some other games. Thematically, this is quite cool. Visually, it looks like what I would expect from the Backrooms. You've got the flickering lights, you've got a little bit of ambience from like the faulty fluorescence in the ceiling. Although I can hear flickering, but there aren't actually any lights that are flickering to make that make sense. So we have an audio-visual disconnect. Again, it's minor, not the end of the world, probably got more important things to worry about. But this movement is going to turn off a lot of players from the game. It's going to make them feel incredibly seasick. And I kind of understand that you're probably going for more of like a chaotic feel to it, because it means you feel, oh, I'm running from danger, here we go, I'm running from a thing, it's chasing me, it's scary. Yeah, sure, it has the desired effect of disorienting the player, but you can disorient the player through level design, not through making the camera so shaky that it would make a limping person on a boat in the middle of a storm wonder if they're like imagining things. There's better ways to handle it than a camera that makes everyone feel motion sick the moment they join the game. All right, do we trust the arrow? Let's follow the arrow. Also, no idea if there's something else in here that wants to kill me. We might have an unpleasant surprise any moment. I've seen a handful of Backrooms games. Haven't really played many of them myself. But I've watched some other YouTubers play through some of them, so I know a bit about the lore of the Backrooms. The hell was that? Was that me? Who knows? So, oh! Okay. I don't remember the Backrooms doing that. That wasn't the hole. That was a holding cell. What was the point in that? Just triggers randomly? So I didn't do it. Again, disorienting, but achieves nothing. What is the purpose? Alright, we're meant to be on the lookout for somewhere that we can actually get down. No idea if there is a bad guy in here with us. Sorry, what I was saying was that I've seen some Backrooms games where it is just about the vibes and exploring liminal spaces for what they are, rather than having to also have the added pressure of, oh, there's a thing chasing you and you might die. The Backrooms themselves are kind of thematically creepy and scary enough that you don't need that to make it an unsettling experience. And in many ways, for this kind of setting, unsettling is perfect. It's meant to be unfamiliar and uncomfortable. I can hear water. If this were Minecraft, I would start digging. Nope, it's gone. Apparently my character was just taking a leak in the middle of the floor. Alright, well, we saw that wall before. Let's keep going in this direction, because we were walking around like the side here. Oh, look, a chair. Love it. Alright, you're now my marker. Oh, what the hell button is that? If you find this place, go open the gate. Can I go under here? No. I pressed control before and something... Why? Why? Alright, now we're getting weird noises. Cool, there is something creepy here. If I hold control and then press W, I appear to just be looking at the ground. That's very weird. It forces the player's head to look at the ground. You have to move the head back up again to move. There we go. Alright, I like that there's a little bit of navigation of like duck. Hang on, did I even need to duck? No. Yes I did. The roof is sloped there. Okay. Oh, that is... I'm going to assume that's a bug, because basically I press control and the player's head immediately does this and looks down towards the ground, and you have to move the mouse forward to lift the head back up again and look in that direction. So it goes, oh look, a penny, and then you lift your head back up again. That's, oh, it does it when you move backwards, does it when you move to the right. It's like, hey, oh yeah, did I tie my shoes today? Ah, yeah, no, cool, we're good, let's keep going. It's just awkward. It's just awkward. Raven, mining the Backrooms might be one of the fastest way to die. I'm glad you're feeling motivated to make your own game, though. Okay. General sense that I'm getting is this area is at least 3 times bigger than it needs to be. Now, I get that this is designed to be explored with multiple people. I am not multiple people. But I also know that I can just leave and go back to level select and see if we find something else. Oh, we found another trap. Okay. Yeah, the head might be physics-based, possibly. That's why it's janky. Flexible neck bone. That sounds like a big mistake. The hole is in that direction, apparently, but also said that there's meant to be a gate that you have to open. Look, another chair. Alright. Ugh. Cool, dark foreboding hallway. Shall we run down it? It seems like a sensible place to go when we're in the Backrooms. Does the flashlight do anything? Not really. Here, I'm in the dark. Flashlight on. Flashlight off. Now I've just blinded myself. Wonderful. I didn't need to see anything. Alright, let's go for a run. Hello, Mr. Bad Guy. I'm very puffed. Please don't kill me while I'm getting my breath back. Alright, cool. I am just about done with this, methinks. What about then this hallway? Okay, we found something. I'll check out that briefcase in a sec. Bit base opened the gate. Okay. Can I... No, can't interact with that. It is just part of the environment. What? Bit base opened the gate. That's not particularly helpful. I was expecting to find something to interact with that opens it, or is it saying that the gate is back here somewhere in this bit base? If this is a base, I would say it's a bit basic, am I right? Oh, the jokes are terrible tonight. Why are these walls a different texture to everything else? It looks as though it's meant to be leading the player into a certain area, but then it just stops. And there was nothing there all along. Look, there's more of it. Where does it go? Does it... Okay. Can't squeeze through there, but there's more of it. Let's try entering here. Well, that was fun. Cool. I enjoyed that for 2 seconds. Oh, God. Why? Why do I do this to myself, honestly? Let's follow it around this way and see if we find anything, shall we? So I can imagine running around here with friends could be interesting for the first 5 to 10 minutes. You know, try to scream directions at each other, find out where you are, get your bearings, group back up again. Be like, hey, I found a thing. Where is it? How do I give you a landmark? I don't know. Yeah, you could do some silly nonsense with that. But, yeah, this appears to be totally nothing. Alright, yeah, it's kind of pointless. Well, not really. Like, there's only so long that you can run for. It's to make it so you can't run forever, but it recharges so quickly. So, alright, okay, cool, we're gonna run again. So I'm guessing if there are bad guys in this, they run really damn fast. Alright, we are gonna pause there, I think, and switch to a different level. Let's go back to menu. Oh, that kicks us all the way out. Okay. We have to make a new one here. Create again, private room, only one player. Grail's second Doom. No, can't leave it at that. Grail's Doom X2. Hopefully not 23. Okay. Let's see. Let's go a little bit further. Let's check out the Martics. I want to see what the Martics are. Okay, I missed that prompt down the bottom. Something about pressing E, I think. Do we actually have some puzzles here? Why is everything white? We do have a puzzle. Okay. Let's see. It's color-coded. This is blue. And I think I saw... sorry, just being seasick. Don't mind me. That's a 5. Sweet. Let's put the 5 in. God. See, I'm not moving the mouse. I am not touching the mouse at all. Both my hands are up here. And this is how much natural head movement there is in the game. So let me ask you this. Why are you making me do precise movement with the mouse to click a small button? When it just... Why? This is not fun. This doesn't add extra challenge. This makes the game actively painful to play. Yeah, be cool if the movement was safe for being low on stamina. I agree with that, Raven. Absolutely. If I've just done like a full sprint, I've used up my stamina and I'm regaining it, absolutely. It makes me feel like I'm exhausted, trying to get my breath back. And then when it fills back up again, it stops and it stabilizes. This being the default is probably fine for most levels. And I have just really gotten unlucky with the one that I've selected. In that now you're asking me to be precise on a keypad. It's a tough combination. All right, we are going to press the 5. We then need yellow and then the apricot colored one. Yellow appears to be a 6. Apricot colored one is an 8. Ugh, stumble our way over here. 6, 8. Then pink and then light green is another 6 and another 8. 6, 8. And then this orangey reddish color. And then the light blue. Another 8. And another 6. Interesting. 8 and a... Why did it hit 0? No, I have to do it all over again. Oh, actually, just kill me now. Good God. 5, 6. 5, 6. Orange and then pink was 8, 6. 5, 6, 8, 6. And I think it was 8, 6 again. Yeah, green and then reddish color. Wait, that's changed. 8, 4? What? Did that... It's changed. Unless I've gone crazy. 8, 4. And then the light blue. 6. Boop. Nothing happened. What? Is it just do it multiple times? Oh, no, it's sinking into the ground. If only there were a sound effect that played to let me know that something happened. That would have been wonderful. Alright, come on. Let there be a ceiling that just crushes me into oblivion. That would be lovely. But honestly, no, in terms of actual feedback, having some windows or something on the side here to make it more visually clear that the walls are sinking in would be kind of nice. Ah, the tunnel. It beckons. I embrace death. Splat. Oh, we did actually get crushed. Oh, we're falling. Okay. That was a cool cinematic effect. Yeah, grind sound scraping. That is just... Wait, am I supposed to escape this somehow? Because it's just replaying the same thing again now. It's... Huh? Is this Squid Game? Is there a crack in the ceiling that I'm meant to fit myself into? What was... Huh? Clearly I did something wrong because I'm being forced to repeat it. Live out my sins once again. Ah, yes. Here it comes. Impending doom. I shall hide in the corner and embrace death. And squish. And we go again. What is happening? Okay. We're gonna do one more loop. Maybe this is intentional. But yeah, the lack of sound effects, lack of dramatic music to convey anything is happening. It makes everything feel disconnected and disjointed. Okay. Nothing going on there either. Yeah, it feels like I failed and I'm meant to try again. What did I fail? Give me some feedback. What did I do wrong? Don't see a way to get through here. I can't jump. All I can do is move and sprint and interact. I can't interact with that. I can't interact with the walls. All I can do is fall to the ground. Once again. Well, this has been fun. Let's go out. Yeah, okay. Having a way here to return to the menu would be nice. Also, just pro tip, the way menus are meant to work, the screen is not meant to continue moving while I'm in a menu. I am still looking around in the background, and that is not how that's meant to go. Okay, this is rough. That is probably the kindest thing that I can say about the moment. Other than that, it's got potential. I can see some interesting ideas. We're going to go and we're going to do one more. We're going to go back to the menu. Let's try another one. Chat, there are 13 levels. Please pick a number between 1 and 13 and let's see what we end up playing. Put some numbers into the chat between 1 and 13. Let's see what we land on while I get this set up. Grail's Doom number 3. Sander coming in hot with a 9. Zonorix is just begging for the hotel level because it might have moths. Right, we'll leave that on escape. Let's see. The Terra Hotel was 13. 9 is Field of Wheat. Sander, would you like to change your nomination? That sounds like a corn maze, but somehow worse. 7 was The Matrix, so sorry Zoyboy, we're not going back there. 4 was Abandoned Office, so Mars, that could be interesting. Also, hi, good to see you, mate. 9 was, yeah, Field of Wheat. 10 to 13 are recommended by Marius's friend. So we have, I mean, Sublimity sounds interesting. Then we have Electrical Station, Lights Out, and Terra Hotel. I'm going to make a judgment call. Let's go for the most recent one, because what we saw in Cartlands was that the further we got, the better it got. Because he's been working on this game for a long time, as far as I understand. I think I mentioned somewhere they've been working on some of this content for 2+ years. So the newer stuff is more recent, and therefore probably higher quality. So let's go for the highest number, and see what happens. Okay, we do have crouch, zoom, flashlight, and shift to run. Oh god, that's somehow worse. However, I am digging the aesthetics of this place. This looks cool. Let me out. Yeah, aesthetically, cool. Looks kind of like a hotel lobby. I'd expect to see like a little desk on the side for a concierge or something to check me in. I really dislike how everything feels so slanted all of the time. I feel like I need to play the game with my head on its side to actually understand it properly. Alright, lovely little entrance and fireplace. That's nice framing. Makes me intrigued to explore. However, these pot plants all across the side make me as a player feel like I am not supposed to go there. So I'm going to go into the fire instead, just to spite you. Yep, nothing there. So we actually have to push our way through? Is that what's happening here? We have a light. I'm drawn to the moth. I'm drawn to the light like a moth. Yep. Nope. This is all just couches. We have water. Got a water bucket. What can I do with that? I can water plants or I can put out the fire. Perfect. This is an escape room. Backrooms style. What was the purpose of that? Is there something over this side to find? No. No, there is not. Nothing hiding amongst these couches. Oh, hi. You have the key. Okay, nice art. And I like that you have credited the person that created the art. That is kind of cool. Okay. That's just a nice little touch. Look at it. Fish. It's like the lamprey from Super Mario 64. Very cool. No art on this wall, though, and that makes me incredibly disappointed. Does it open this? Yes. Right. Do I need to crouch? I have to crouch in here. This was pointless. Why did I do this? I don't need to be in here. Let's get back out. Oh, that is not how a crouch mechanic is supposed to work. We opened it, and I feel like we're supposed to put something in there. Do I take the fish somehow? No. Okay. Nothing hiding in the back here. See, this is strange because I am normally actually pretty decent at escape room puzzles. I'm missing something very obvious here. Ooh, what have I done? Where did it go? Why so many couches, but there's no people? I'm all alone in this little hotel. The rest of this game can go to hell. Alright, so that was fun. Congratulations, we opened a thing. I feel like something's meant to happen. Like, did I forget my flu powder? Am I meant to walk in here and just shout, Diagon Alley! And get transported somewhere? Is that how this works? Because there's nothing to interact with, but the game has let me in here. We clearly opened the grill. But yeah, nothing kind of happening. Don't just stand there, you're gonna inhale asbestos. You know what? That might be my exit out of this hotel, to be honest. Okay. Any hints, guys? It's like I want to light the fire, but we can't uproot the plants. Yep. Let's double check. Anything in these pot plants? Do you do anything? Is one of you actually flammable material in disguise? Nope. You are nothing. You are nothing. You are also nothing. You should feel ashamed of yourself. You should make yourself into something. Yeah, I've got literally no clue here. I don't think there's anything up here that I can interact with. The only thing I can do is, like, I've got a flashlight. I can go in here and turn it on. I mean, there's nothing up there anyway. Nothing hiding. Like, I was expecting maybe like a key on this side of it or something that I needed to grab to be able to get out. And unless they're like, oh, this one brick is a slightly different color, you need to interact with it. That would actually be the absolute worst. But no, there just appears to be nothing in here. Cool. Well, this has been fun. Why is this menu different? The text is bigger. Okay. Back into the menu. I'm just really curious about the wheat now. Grail's Doom number 4. Let's go. One of the puzzle wasn't lighter. That was just my flashlight lighting it up. That was definitely not a thing. Right, let's go. We're going to take a look at the field of wheat. Okay. Oh, really? Please tell me I stand up slightly above the... No. Well, we've got one slight point of reference. Okay, one thing I do slightly appreciate here is there appears to be different levels of ground and therefore different heights of wheat. So when you get up on top of something, it's possible to actually see. Let's make a run for this tower and see if something jump scares us along the way, I guess. Imagine if this is actually just doing red light, green light the entire time and I've just instantly lost. Hello, red light. Cool. Oh, dear God, what is this? Ugh. No. Is this the exit? If so, that'd be freaking amazing. Hi. I'd like to go now. No, you're telling me there are 4 things to find, aren't you? That's what this is, isn't it? Find 4 things, they light up, and then a lift appears to you so you can go. This beacon's only here to give you a very vague sense of direction. Okay, let's go have a look. What is the point in this game? Great question, Yuval. If you figure it out, let us know. I'm not sure we know quite yet. I like just the little sniff noise. Yeah, I ran hard. Something weird about that skybox. Yeah, do you see that? It's kind of hard to see between the swaying wheat. But there is a wall just around everything. Let's go take a look. I wonder if we can actually get nice and close up to it. Yeah, there it is. Oh, we hit it. We hit the wall. They have had to box in everything like I'm in a glass cage. Oh, and that's the torch, by the way. I hope no one's epileptic because, ouch. Alright, let's go back. Oh, someone said there was... Wait. Someone said there's a button under the tower? Oh, God, if I had missed that. Oh, okay, there's the tower. Let's check it out. We've got one here, and that'll tell us if we need to just go find other towers. It's a very weird breathing sound effect. Alright, come on. Hello, tower. Right. Oh, God. Right. Yep, and one of them's now green. Okay. Okay. You know what? Maybe we can beat this level. If we can just somehow manage to find more of those. I did see one more very briefly down in this direction. Okay, we found a path. Let's maybe stay on the path? Why not? Let's go this way. That noise better be me. Otherwise, what I'm kind of hoping is that this game has now spawned something that will chase me and kill me and put me out of my misery. Ah! A field of view problem. Look at this. Oh, there's nothing in that direction. Unless I look it out of the corner of my eye. Does that weird thing where you can actually see further on the edges of your vision than you can in the center. But at least I know we need to go roughly that direction. How can that loop back around to where I was? No. We're going this way. I see fields of wheat. And just more fucking wheat. There's no rainbows here. Alright. At least it lets us find tower number 2. Okay, there we go. Hello, I have found the button. It is now green. Excellent. The only thing they could do that would make this even more infuriating is to go, oh, by the way, these are on a timer. Good luck. Alright, we cannot see anything else, so we're just going to run in this general direction. And see if we find anything. Okay. This is thrilling gameplay, I'm sure. Goodbye, tower. I'm guessing it's probably going to be over that way, but we're here now. Wait. I thought I saw a flash of green to the right. That would make no sense. Hey, yep, there's another tower. I saw the red. Maybe. Yep, this way. Okay. And that means there's only one more after this. Run! Person. I want to, like, at least beat one of these levels. I also feel like Marius won't take anything I say seriously. There we go. Okay. We're getting close to a wall on that side. Can't even see the wall on that side. So I'm guessing we probably go this way. Onwards. Need a noble steed. Okay. Probably another minute at least of this before we get anything interesting. And then we still have to run all the way back again. God, we got so lucky actually picking the right direction. Actually, no, we didn't. We could see the tower from the start. I'm not sure if we always spawn in the same place or not. But at least we were lucky enough to see a tower from the start. And now I've probably got... Oh, there it is. Peripheral vision coming in handy once again. Let's go this way. Okay. Found the road. Truck comes out of nowhere and just isekais me into another dimension. You know what? I'd enjoy that. Okay. Move. Richard, you're casting to your mum's TV, and the quality drops to minimum quickly, but every time you get an ad, the quality jumps back up to 1080p. Yeah, that's YouTube at its best. All right, we've found all 4 towers. Was this here before? I'm going this way now. My sense of direction is telling me we need to head vaguely in this direction. And quite a distance. Whew. Okay, let's run. I'll run as fast as I can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. But a very, very slow gingerbread man. Okay, there's one of the towers. So at least we're heading in the right direction. Come on. And then it's like, oh, by the way, there's something chasing you. Yeah, it's exactly where we need to go. So the tower's that way and then one over there. Glad I didn't go to that corner. We would have found absolutely nothing. Let's go. We can beat a freaking level. Sprint. He's not going to make it in one sprint, is he? Come on. There we go. And we're home free. Hello? Can I leave? Do I get to leave? No, come on! Why? Oh, crouch. Are you kidding me? I'm pressing E on it. Nothing's happening. It does nothing. Can't. I even tried clicking it because you never know what's meant to be clicked in this game. Alright. I think we can call it there. We're going to quit. Yes, quit the app completely. I'm going to bring ourselves back to here. Right. Let's put some background music on because we need to chat. We need to chat for a bit. I apologize. This is the best music that I've got prepped and ready to go. But I need something that's going to be a little bit more uplifting and make me feel okay about everything that just happened. Okay, let's pull together some final thoughts and some feedback for Marius. Okay. I think, I don't want to look at chat just yet because I don't want to get too influenced by it. Let me just pop this music down a touch this way. Make it softer for me, a little bit up for you. There we go. I think there's a lot of potential here, if I'm being completely honest. There's some interesting ideas and some things being evolved in an interesting way. However, I feel like this is one of those games where it's ballooning way beyond the scope of what is feasibly completable by one/a small team of people. I think the things that you've done really well, Marius, in this game is you've been quite creative. And I think you've managed to introduce some interesting mechanics into some of the games. And I think when I talk about this review, I'm going to be focusing primarily on the cut levels, because that felt the most polished out of everything. If I had... Actually, let me go back, focusing on the positives for now. So I think you've got some really interesting mechanical design. I think your ability to create interesting and engaging music is actually really strong. I think that's something you should be proud of, because not everyone has a knack for creating music in that way. I would like to see you tailor the music a little bit more to the specific games and the levels. But I think you've got some talent there which you could utilize. What I would like to see you do is to trim back what you're trying to achieve. I think your scope is simply too large, and it's dividing your attention between 3 games, and instead of one game having 100% of your time, energy, and focus, you've got 3 games that all get 30-ish% of your time, energy, and focus. And what that means is that each of those games are only 30% as good as they could be. I think you need to dial back your scope. So my biggest piece of advice would be to completely scrap the Backrooms and to completely scrap type. They're good ideas, shelve them to come back to later. The kart levels was your most complete game. I think it has some pacing issues, and it's suffering from a lack of custom assets and sound effects. It got better as it progressed, as clearly your skills as a developer have been progressing, and you've been learning more tricks and learning what things work and taking inspiration from other games that you've played and things that you've experienced. However, what that means is that you have built a game that starts off at one level and then increases to another level in terms of quality. And that's not a good thing. Your game needs to be quality consistently throughout the game. Varying difficulty, varying mechanics, but consistent quality is what's going to be key. I think you've got potential as a game dev. I honestly do. You've got some interesting things that you're doing, but I honestly think you're just trying to achieve too much. And part of that is that I think you've, I've jumped onto your Discord and I've seen that you've started to build a little bit of a community there, which is really cool. And I'm really excited for you because it means you've got people who are going to give you motivation and energy to continue creating, which is fantastic. But the downside and the drawback to that is they will pull your attention away from the things that are important to you and the things that you want to be focusing on, that you should be focusing on, and you're instead focusing on the things that they want you to be focusing on. And I'm very mindful that I'm doing the same thing here, but I'm trying to come at this from a different place, because this isn't about what I want to experience. I'm trying to come at this from the angle of, this is what is going to make your game successful and help you make a name for yourself. Because designing and creating your own game is cool. The things better than that are being able to have a fan base of people that enjoy it, being able to monetize your game and actually profit and make money from it in a good way. At the end of the day, everyone wants to be able to make money from a hobby, so being able to sell a product matters, right? And the other thing that's going to come from it is simply you building and increasing your own skills and starting to have a repertoire of games that you can show to other people to hopefully land a job in the future for a game development company. And I think if that's where you want to go in life and as a career, which again, it sounds like you're still kind of young, so take it all with a big pinch of salt. Like, this might not be something you want to do as a career, it might just be a hobby thing. But if you're able to show a polished, complete product to a game dev company, you're way more likely to get hired and become part of a team than if you show them 3 ideas in progress, which is what this feels like. And the other thing that's on my mind is, you've already been working on this for multiple years. How many more years of effort are you going to put into this until it gets to a point where something is actually complete? Because if you can have 3 partially complete games after 2 to 3 years, you instead could have had 1 fully complete game in that same time period. So I think scope is your issue here, and part of it is I think you need to better plan out what it is that you want to create and how. I would love to see if you have a game design document. Have you laid out, this is what my game's going to be about. These are the core mechanics. This is the genre I want to go for. This is how many levels I want to have. These are the mechanics I want to introduce. This is the art style that I'm going for. How well have you actually just mapped out and planned what you want your game to be? Because if the answer is, I haven't done that yet, I'm just making what feels like fun, then you need to ask yourself, is this a serious project or is this just a hobby project? Because if it's just a hobby project, that's totally fine. If this is a serious project, you need to go all the way back to step 1 and go to that game design document. There's plenty of resources out there you'll be able to find online on the internet for free that'll help guide you on that path. Yes, it sounds boring, but it's going to help you make a game that people actually fully enjoy from start to finish without you having to be in the background going, oh no, play like 5 more levels, it gets better. No. You want an experience that is better from the start, because that's what you're capable of achieving. And if you don't show people what you're capable of from the very moment they pick up your game, what are you doing? Right? You want people to see what you can do, and currently I don't think you're delivering on that. Now, let me catch up on what people have been saying in the chat. Exactly needs to escape the 400 alpha games and get at least one thing closer to beta. I agree. No reason that these 3 games need to be in one client. Don't even feel like the 3 games feel cohesive. I agree. These should, like, the 3 ideas themselves are fine and things that you can work on and refine, but it doesn't feel like it makes sense for them to be all contained within a singular project. These could very easily just be 3 separate games that you have created, and that will allow you to give them a bit more personality and shape them better as well. Yeah, we need coherence, absolutely. Man with a plan, future creep is called that because it kind of creeps up on you. You have to focus on, feature creep, not future creep. You have to focus on one aspect and hone that, then have it tested by a wide variety of people. You don't have to take all the advice, but take most and refine it, then test it again. Repeat until you're satisfied. 100% agree. It's all well and good to have an audience, but sometimes your audience doesn't actually know what they're talking about. You're the game developer. You need to have a mission, a goal, an idea in mind that you're trying to realize. You need to document that idea so you know what it is, and anytime you're creating something or working towards it, you have to ask yourself the question, does what I'm about to do help me with the goal that I'm trying to achieve, or is it just something I'm kind of doing for fun? And it kind of sucks, it means there'll be some ideas that you have to shelve. But what you do is you write down those ideas in a separate document. And then when you finish your project, you come back to that document, and that's what gives you your inspiration and ideas for the next project. That's how you keep yourself motivated and moving forward. And honestly, they do that in the corporate world. Again, I'm not a game dev, but there's a lot of crossover here. When I'm working on a project for work, there'll be things where I go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could also do this, or we could also do that, because maybe we're creating changes to the way the software works that the team in store use on a daily basis, and we go, well, what we wanted to achieve was this, and we go, well, along the way we could also do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all these extra things, but actually they don't help with the first point. They're add-ons, and all of a sudden a project that should take 3 months to complete suddenly takes 24 months to complete because we've bolted on so many things. Those separate things could have been their own projects, and therefore they would have better time and attention paid to them. So, back to what I would say in terms of advice. Strip away everything except for the Cartlands levels, and I would actually go completely back to the drawing board, because some of your levels are super cool, got some really unique ideas, but I think you really need to consider what works and what doesn't work in those levels. Have a look through all the levels that you've created, and then pull out your top 10, and really think about what makes those levels better than the rest. Is it the way that the obstacles are placed? Is it because it has unique mechanics in it? Is it because the music actually blends really nicely? Once you've analyzed that, you will have a formula for what all of your levels should look like. Yes, you can then balance them in terms of difficulty, but then you'll be like, yes, these mechanics work, these mechanics don't. It'll allow you to actually focus more on the experience that you want to create and deliver. So I would probably offer that as a bit of a starting point to help refine things. If you already said and you kind of know that the better levels are towards the end, flip that on its head. If the early levels aren't good, get rid of them. They're not lending anything to the value of your game. They're not showcasing what you can do as a creator and a developer. So I think you've created some really good foundations in that game, but you're being let down by older ideas and designs that you had. You've got better ideas and designs now. Capitalize on those. And I'm saying all this from a place in my heart because I want you to succeed. But I think you need to get the foundations of your game right as well. We spoke a lot about the UI at the start. It's all relevant. It's all still true. But it also can come later. I think to begin with, you've got to nail those core mechanics. You've got to map out exactly how many levels you need to make your game. It doesn't need to be 30 levels, 40 levels, 50 levels. Map that out and stick to it. Yes, you can add on levels later as like an expansion or an update, but focus on what is your core experience, how does it start, how does it end, and what is the progression from start to finish. If you can map that out, you're going to be able to create a solid game. The parts that feel like they're missing at the moment are the graphics, because it doesn't really have much of an identity. The fact that it's called Cartlands, but I don't think we were ever in a cart, feels weird. Think about the player model. What's the story? What does that need to look like? There were some great ideas tossed around, such as actually going for a papercraft style, where everything looks like it's been handmade. And it's looking like a puppet show with things on sticks used to tell a story. You could have some great fun from an artistic perspective with picking a theme and sticking to it. You could do some really cool things. That needs to be touched up. Your sound design in that game needs to touch up as well. I think you've got some great music that you've implemented, but the lack of sound effects to lend credence to the things that are happening around the player really hurts the experience. And what it makes is almost every game feel like an alpha or test version that's still a ways away from being a beta. It makes a lot of the objects in the game feel like placeholders rather than anything that's being put there intentionally. Until we got further in and then we started going, oh look, like there's pipes with liquid, there's falling objects, these cogs are being used thematically and consistently. That's when it started to feel cohesive. But that should be earlier in the game. So I think there's a lot that you can do to polish things up and make it more interesting. I really think you could do some interesting things with this, but I think it's a ways off yet. So let's see if this still holds up. Presentation, customized backgrounds are cool. I still agree with that. Weird that there's no music at launch. Yes. Unlockable music is cool, but start the player with something. Position the slider. Positioning. I should just say moving the slider. Should give instant feedback the same way the color slider does. Font choice needs to be consistent everywhere, because we saw that in multiple places. Consistent use of currency icon in menus, please. And in the game, Y rings when it's a coin everywhere else. UI revamp can consider the use of sliders versus drop-down menus. Ability to change the background music should be on the title screen or the settings. Yeah. In-game settings should open to the settings for that specific game. Yes. Settings in general need a bit of a rework. If you're giving the player EXP, show what it's used for, even if it's just the level up bar increasing. Show what the level up reward will be. At the moment, actually, I want to say, I'm going to block that out. This might be controversial. Or it just might be common sense. Ah, there's no strike through on this. Well, that's disappointing. Really, Google Sheets? You can't give me a strike through? Can I do anything over here? Size, rotation, drop video, alt text, text fitting. God damn, there's no strike through. Alright, never mind then. We'll just add in here. In fact, remove the EXP mechanic entirely. It serves no purpose. You could remove the level up mechanic entirely from your game, and honestly, it really wouldn't change anything. And if that's the way, if that is the reality of a mechanic, just remove it. One less thing to have to code around, one less thing to have to maintain, one less thing to have to worry about. Might be appropriate for a different game in the future, doesn't feel like it's needed in that particular game. Narrative, I think you need to go back to the drawing board on that one. Does it serve a purpose? Is it actually useful? It kind of was, but you could have told the story through the visuals. And I think that's probably going to be my biggest advice here. Tell the story through the visuals, not the text. You can make the player question reality simply by having reality change and shift around them. You can create assets and effects that make things feel like the player is waking up from a dream without having to have text saying, am I dreaming? Am I awake? Half the time things are moving so quickly on screen, you don't have time to read the on-screen text. Really. I'm usually not playing an auto-runner game for the story. I'm playing it for the mechanics and for the challenge. It's an arcade experience. You didn't go to old arcades and put your coins in and play a game for the story. You played it for the mechanics because it was enjoyable and fun to play. And a lot of that is in the audio-visual feedback. Currently, the game is okay in the visuals department, but very lacking in the audio feedback department. Hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Richard, I agree. You think the music will make for a good inclusion to a portfolio. Marius can still get into the industry if that's something you want to do for other things, but the music is a highlight here. Yeah, definitely think about your potential as just designing and creating music for video games. That's a niche in itself that you could capitalize on. Sander, let's say I wanted to buy the Backrooms game, but wasn't interested in the Autorunner or the FNAF game. Feel like you're paying too much money. Yeah, because it kind of would be justifying the price around the total content that you've created. So you might be thinking a game like this, like, oh yeah, I'll sell it for $15. It's basically $5 per game that are in it. From the outside, though, you go, this is $15 for 3 kind of incomplete games. Make one really good game and sell it for $15. You'll be fine. Maybe not 15, but you get the point. You get the point. Sound design. Music choice was a bit too slow. I'm going to add in there just saying in the beginning. Later music was great. Don't think there's too much more there needs to say there, other than that you clearly have a talent for creating interesting music. Controls. What are the tutorials? Yeah. What are the controls? Please add tutorials. Okay. Pause the screen of the jetpack controls until the players press the key. I'm actually going to say, in general, pause gameplay until the player presses a button to start. Having the levels flow one into each other is kind of nice and might work on mobile because it makes the player more inclined to just play through the next game, the next level, because it's already started. But in reality, it makes it very difficult to stop and pause at any point. Would much rather be able to take a moment and assess what's in front of me than press a button to start the gameplay, and away you go from there. Gameplay itself, interesting use of area-based / force power-ups. Shakes up the gameplay, but needs to reconsider implementation. I still maintain this. It got better as the game went on. Started using them in better ways. What I will say, though, is that power-ups should be singular and tied to one button. No on-screen clickable areas. And you might come back and go, oh, well, in the gears section, you need to use the mouse to point and aim where that gear is going to go, like you're shooting a gun. No, you don't. You actually really don't. You already moved left and right, just have the gear fire in a straight line from your position. What does aiming with the mouse add to the experience? For at least what I played through, it didn't add anything. If I just simply had left-right movement, I press a button to fire a gear forward as though I'm just shooting from guns that are aligned in the same direction as the player, it would have achieved the same end result. So, yeah, I don't think that's actually necessary. Please add a progress bar to the Cartlands, especially for longer levels. I would also say add to that, please add checkpoints after cutscenes. Repeating cutscenes is not fun. Okay. More interactive and responsive traps and obstacles earlier in the game, please. This was great in the later levels. Oops. Love seeing some of the creative designs. We saw some cool stuff later on. We can remove this from here because we put it elsewhere. Show UI element for how many gears the player has left. I'm just going to say gears / ammo in case that applies to later in the game as well. Innovation section. I don't think we've got too much to add here. And I mean that in a good way. Again, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there was anything particularly innovative about what's being done here. There's a lot of iterating on game genres and mechanics that have been done before. Cartlands is very clearly a different take on your infinite runner games, like we mentioned before. The second game, Type, was kind of an interesting combination with Five Nights at Freddy's with some different mechanics, but I don't think it was implemented in quite the right way. And the third game was, weirdly enough, a cross between the Backrooms and a game that I played much, much earlier on the channel called Nvlova Stand, which was all about just kind of exploring weird, abstract environments created out of a lot of Unity assets. Also, I'm just going to double check. Is my chat frozen? Am I missing something here? Or have you guys gone quiet on me? You guys have gone quiet on me. Alright, it's just me. Yeah, Slender Man without the Slender Man. But also the fact that the final level, or not the final level we played didn't actually finish when we went through the door is pretty disappointing as a player. Now, but that said, like, you said it was an alpha version, so I can't be too harsh on that. There's going to be things that are broken and don't work. I think I want to see you put your focus and energy into completing one project instead of having 3 partial ones. So I think I'm going to add in here, loved the genre blend of typing with horror. A good way to create suspense via manual tasks that require concentration. I kind of enjoyed that. It was a little bit more interesting than the typical Five Nights at Freddy's of check the cameras, keep checking the cameras, keep checking the cameras. This was kind of nice because it made you really have to kind of feel out how much time is passing while the clock's ticking down. That was kind of cool, but I don't want you to focus on that for now. Leave this to action much later. Complete Cartlands fully first. I do still think, though, need to think about how you layer difficulty with the tasks, with those tasks. Difficulty with this mechanic. More is not equal to better. Giving the player 50 things to complete. Actually, a really good comparison point for that is if you've ever played an MMORPG, the running gag for it, like with stuff like World of Warcraft, it was like, oh goody, I've accepted a quest. Time to go and collect 50 boar asses. That's a joke because it's repetitive and it's boring. It's maybe kind of fun the first time, but then it just becomes repetition, and you have to question why you're doing it. The hotel is good. There's a chase part and choice. We didn't get there. We opened the fireplace and then couldn't go any further because we couldn't figure out what to do. So we moved on. And it's kind of, yeah, oh yeah, thank you. The head bobbing needs to go down. That's for Backrooms. Disable the head bobbing or only use when the player is exhausted. This will make players motion sick. It's not a good mechanic. Yeah. So definitely check out Cartland's Infinite Dungeon and Laboratory. Will take 10 minutes. Honestly, we're pretty much over time already, so I'm gonna have to leave it to check out another time potentially. But that is, I think, where we're gonna leave it for now. And actually, that is a really good point. You're adding in an infinite dungeon and laboratory and basically a level editor before you've finished any of the games that you've got in progress. Why? What is your end goal you're trying to achieve? I think what I'm going to do, let's just duplicate that, drop it off here. We're going to delete most of this. And we're going to turn this one into final thoughts and advice. Just to wrap this up nicely. You know? We'll make this one centered. Can we make sure that this is centered in the screen? There we go. Bring this down, and then the next lines will be left justified, DOS points. There we go. Whew. All right. Okay. Clearly can't read any of that because it's white on white. Go me. And I don't think I can outline the text in this either. Nah, I can't. Not that I can see there anyway. Might be somewhere in the advanced format options. I can do a highlight color, but don't really want to do that. That's fine. We'll just put it over here. Talent and passion. Need to focus on the basics. I think it comes back to these questions. What is this game? What am I trying to achieve? Yeah, it'll probably take years to fix everything. It's going to take a while. But I think we have something good afterwards. Okay. Let's see. Start by creating a game design document if you haven't already. Focus on the Cartlands. This was the most complete and objectively most fun. Remove everything else. Save these to come back to later as a future project. Or projects, because there's going to be multiple, right? I think that's the direction you need to go in. Yeah. It's the classic trap of, I want to create everything, I've got all these good ideas, but I don't finish any of them. Goal is to finish one project 100% instead of multiple partially finished projects. It's the classic one that happens in game design, happens for artists. You start a whole bunch of projects but don't really finish any of them, and then it leaves you disillusioned and dispassionate about what was something that you really enjoyed. Because you look back and go, well, what have I made? Well, I've made a whole bunch of things that aren't done yet. Actually completing a project, start to finish, matters. Because there are things that you do on the tail end of a project that you currently haven't gotten to and haven't experienced. You need to get there. And I think, yeah, Sandra's saying in the chat as well, I think if you were to focus on just this slice of the game, you would actually be able to make the changes and create something really cool probably fairly quickly. And it'll be something that the people who are already fans of your content will really enjoy, because you'll be able to give them a polished product that they can just play and enjoy without having to constantly think in the back of their mind, oh, this could be better, or oh, this is still in alpha, it will be better later. You can just give them something that's actually good. Yeah, Richard, when I was working on my big project originally, 90% of the work was just getting something playable. You're already at that stage. You've made something playable. And now you've just got to layer the polish on and have a complete product. That's where you need to get to. So I also said, choose your top 10 levels from Cartlands and analyze what they do well and why. Rework your levels. Outline how many, how it starts, how it ends, and layer the mechanics and difficulty between. Alright, don't have too much more space to add extra in here. I think that will give you enough to start with. I don't want to tell you how to live your life. I want to tell you how to improve what you've created so far. That's really what it comes down to. And I think if you start here, chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you've got 10 times more experience than I do, but I think if you start here, you will actually get somewhere meaningful. I would love to hear more about what your passion is, what you want to do as your future. Do you want to be like a game dev as a career? Because I think you could, if you can focus and complete something. That's going to be your challenge from me. What I want to see, and I think you said in chat before, you know... Oh, thank you very much there, Yelsuk. Is my text-to-speech going to work? It is.
10 Polish zlotys to the war funds. Can't stay for the stream but came in to say hello.
Thank you, Yelsuk. I appreciate it. And hello to you as well. Totally fine if you can't stay for the stream. Always got a VOD to watch back later, so you'll see your shout out there. But thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I was going to say is for Simple Marius, because I think you mentioned before, like, you know, would it be down for a round 2? Yeah, I would. But the round 2 that I want to see is a complete game. Polished, start to finish, no excuses. No, oh, this is, you know, bugged, or this is still in the works. I want to see one of these games, probably Cartlands, as a complete experience from start to finish. And if you're able to present that to me, absolutely I would come back and re-review it and give you some more advice. And what I would hope to see is that you've managed to take what is currently a 30% complete game to a 100% complete, fully polished game. Would I expect it to be on par with a whole bunch of AAA stuff? No, of course not. This is like a one-man student project style thing. It's always going to have some rough edges. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect in every single area. But what it should be is enjoyable and polished from start to finish. That is the biggest advice I can give. So, I will send this document through to you, Marius. I'll drop it in via Discord. So that you can read and review all of our thoughts here. You've got the VOD to hear some more of the live feedback as well. I still think, in summary, that you've got some great ability, you've got some good ideas. I just want you to see you narrow that focus, and I think you could actually create something kind of cool. So well done for where you've gotten to so far with things. Looking forward to seeing what you come back with later. And I think on that note, we're going to jump over to here. Oh, I've turned myself off. We're back. I think that's going to wrap up today's stream. I really enjoyed being able to take a look at this, because compared to what we looked at last week with Strax's game, it's games in very different places, and that's why I think I really enjoy this kind of content, because we are going to see quite a lot of games that are still in alpha or beta versions. They're still in development. We'll see some more complete ones as well that they want to get a bit more feedback, but that's the whole point of this. We're going to judge what is presented to us in the way that it is presented and give some feedback to help devs basically continue progressing with their game and get to a really good endpoint. I know I can only help them get so far. I'll be interested to see what Marius takes from this and where they get to, what feedback they take on board. But either way, I hope, Marius, that this has been helpful and supportive and educational for you. Wish you the best of luck. Next week, actually, let's have a quick look. Where are we going next week? Because we do have another game lined up. What did I do with my list? Let me bring it back up real quick. Community Spotlight. Okay. Next week, coming up, we have a game by a member of the community called Silver Sphere, called Guns, Blocks, and Steel. This game, if you want to check it out ahead of time, is listed on Steam and is going to be releasing soon. Not out yet, but we're getting an early look at it to be able to give them some feedback and see what areas can be polished up. So that's going to be interesting. And I think, until next time, well, take care, and I'll see you then. Good night, everybody.